Jarvis, drop my needle.
Hello, this is the hardcore legend Mick Foley, and if you are interested in listening to idiots, you came to the right place. Have a nice day.
Woo! That's an attention getter.
He's a very strange young man.
He's an idiot.
What we're dealing with here is a complete lack of respect for the law.
Oh my God, he's an idiot.
You know, of course, that you're out of your jurisdiction.
Personally, I think you're an idiot.
But that's the evidence in the car.
But I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
Always like to keep my audience riveted.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, friends and fiends, and welcome to Free Range Idiocy, the podcast about everything, but mostly just the stuff we like. Once again, another of the high holy days of the professional wrestling calendar has found its way to us, and lo, it shall not be merely a single day. Nay, nay, we say. It shallst be 2 days of SummerSlam this year. We have a full slate of matches, a handful of championships up for grabs, a pair of six-person tag matches, a #1 contendership, Hell in a Cell, and a Nick Aldis in a pear tree. So let's not muck about any further and get into our official preview and picks in this episode 257, Golden Summer Slam. I am your Uncle Todd, and with me, as always, the man who still cries every time he sees the wedding of Miss Elizabeth and Macho Man Randy Savage at SummerSlam 1991. He has been my partner in Idiocy for over 2 decades, and only narrowly missed convincing his wife to let him wear a white cowboy hat for his own nuptials. I give you the man they call Tim.
Greetings and salutations, my friend. How are you?
I am doing well, and I want to throw this out there because I want it to be said. This is the 28th year of Idiocy.
Yes, it is.
For us. I had to check with my friend Carrie to find out what year we actually got the apartment, but I believe at this point we actually officially knew each other.
Was there going to be an end to that sentence?
Well, no, but I'm just saying it's getting kind of scary, the fact that we're heading towards 3 decades.
We're hurtling.
Or limping, however you want to look at it.
But didn't we meet each other earlier? Like, are you basing it off of us living in the apartment? Because we worked at Service Merchandise.
Well,
before.
yes. So that's why I said we knew each other at this point. So this would be the 28th year of Idiocy.
Okay.
So then I mark the beginning of the fully idiotic era from move-in day. Yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So we're probably another year and a half away. 2 years
from
possibly.
3 decades of excellence.
Oh my gosh, excellence!
And idiocy.
I guess I'm sure other people would have a very different way of interpreting that. But yes, we are going to be diving into 2 nights of SummerSlam.
I got a question for you first, though. Before we get into this.
Okay, yeah. And
it is. We are recording on Sunday, July the 26th. Not to ruin the,
correct.
Not to open the kimono too much here, but. There he goes.
I gotta start wearing pasties again. I thought we were done with the kimono thing. I really did.
But as I mentioned to you in the pre-production meeting, sir,
yes.
We are on the cusp of the beginning of August, and you know what that means.
Son of a bitch. Well, I told you I didn't want to talk about this.
Well, I'm just saying
it up on this show now.
I'm just putting it out there. Fantasy football season is upon us, and I will do you this much of a solid. I will not grab the championship belt and throw it over my shoulder in significance and symbolication of the fact that I am the 2-time back-to-back year-to-year world champion of our fantasy league. But I did want to just plant the bug just in case you are interested to, make sure you get your registration in so I know who's going to be playing. That's all. Speaking
One question.
Yes, sir.
One question.
Yes.
If I don't participate,
yes,
will you still insist on talking about your fantasy football team on this
Yes.
show?
It is news in my life that needs to be brought into the show.
No,
absolutely.
No.
Absolutely.
No.
Oh, yes.
It is in the same line of nose picking and masturbation. You can do it all you
Good
want.
Lord.
Just don't flaunt it for other people.
Holy
okay?
moly.
They are ugly habits that should be kept in the privacy of your own bed chambers and nowhere else.
No. We're going to talk about it whether you're in or out, my friend.
Oh my gosh.
You're not escaping it. It's going to be there. So I'm just letting you know the season is upon us, and I'm trying to be better and have the drafts, kind of earlier in August. So we're not trying to squeeze it in on Labor Day week before the season starts. So Anyways, just keep that in mind. That is all. All right. As you were about to introduce, what are we talking about here, sir?
SummerSlam.
Ah, yes. SummerSlam is upon us.
Yes. Two
What
nights,
year?
August 1st and 2nd
Okay.
at US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Very nice.
And I think we are over the 30-year mark.
I'm checking just to be sure.
Because wasn't SummerSlam 88?
39th annual SummerSlam.
Wow.
We're almost at 40.
Would you look at that?
Indeed. But yes, you are correct. 88.
Well, no, it would have been 87 then, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. 87 would be the first one.
Because I think they did announce SummerSlam as SummerSlam 88, and then after that they kind of dropped the year fairly quickly, and it just became SummerSlam.
Yeah.
They decided, like, we don't need to have a numeral after this one like WrestleMania. It gets confusing.
Confused as a baby raccoon.
Yeah, almost. So lots going on here. It appears that ESPN's edict for more matches for the PLEs has been heard loud and clear. As we now, after some correction from the man they call Tim, to start this thing off, we got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So if they split this thing evenly, we got 6 per night.
That's one extra match, though. It's not like they heard it loud and clear. It's like, all right, well, we'll do you a solid and add one more in. You know?
Well, let's put it this way: if they put Hell in a Cell and the ladder match on opposing nights, those are kind of big spectacle matches. So yes. I think you get that's almost like 2 matches in and of itself. So I feel like they've definitely upped it, as well as the fact that, I mean, we have what, 1, 2, 3, 4 out of these matches, I think, are just matches. Like, and they have story, but they do not have a championship. Everything else has a championship or a number 1 contendership on the line.
Yeah.
That's kind of impressive. Like, they really are kind of loading this up. There's a lot of shit going on here, to quote Crash Davis. So this could be well, we said this about WrestleMania, and look how we were on that one. So this could be a really good 2-night program here, but we will see.
Nice.
Have you been keeping up on the shows leading up to this?
I mean, I'm keeping up with Raw based on YouTube and reading Cage Side Seats, and similar for SmackDown. I'm just, but I'm not. My schedule is such that it's been very difficult to watch the shows. I'm going to try to watch the last Raw here on the train tomorrow, and then and try to watch Raw tomorrow also on the train. SmackDown, I don't have a great ability to watch the replay, so I'm kind of really stuck with just YouTube and understanding how things are playing out from Cage Side Seats recap. So that is what I'm going to have to run with on that one. So
I will say, as someone who's for some reason, it's been easier for me to catch SmackDown live the last couple of weeks than it has been Raw. Raw, I usually kind of catch up with over a period of lunch breaks throughout the week. But SmackDown's actually improved, I think, and it doesn't hurt that the last couple of weeks here, or not this past week, but the 2 weeks prior to that, we start off the night with Finn Balor against somebody, and that has gone really well. And then the match that he had this past Friday, another great one. So, I mean, Finn Balor, a great asset moving over to SmackDown.
Yeah.
Has kind of really improved that show quite a bit. Nice. So, but some good wrestling going on over there.
Very good.
So I'm kind of vaguely caught up, but at the same time, my memory also has a lot of holes in it right now. So we're probably about running even on this one, I would say.
Yeah, I'm definitely following the Gunther Nick Aldis situation. I'm finding that very interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing Nick Aldis wrestle because he has, made mostly his stamp made on the independent scene as the NWA World Champion, but am happy to see they're going to give him, a bit of an opportunity. As we learned, short-lived. He's going to go back to being the GM after this match, but still good to see him in a match with Gunther. And we'll see.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say we'll see if he has what it takes to overcome the Ring General.
Has he ever had a WWE match?
That's a good question. I don't think so. But let me just double check.
I thought I remember that being mentioned in some of the hype that, like, he had never wrestled in a WWE match, which is funny considering, being a general manager. Usually it's kind of that wrestler turns into.
Yeah. No, he has never officially wrestled a match in WWE.
Interesting.
Yes.
Most interesting.
So we will see.
All right. How do you want to dive into this, sir? I think if it were me, I would say we
bottoms up, baby. Bottoms up.
There we go. All right. And speaking of bottom, here we are at the bottom with the 6-woman tag match of Nikki and Brie Bella, the Bellas, and Paige versus Fatal Influence, otherwise known as JC Jane, Fallon Henley, and Lainey Reed,
who are now the reigning, defending women's tag team champions after whooping on Brie and Paige. So right away, I'm going to go with a side bet that Nikki and Brie are going to turn on Paige in this match. I'm just going to say it right now.
Yeah, give me some of that too, because that feels like it would be a very wise maneuver, if only because I think the Bellas work better as heels, honestly, So I gotta say, like, I don't see a lot of upside if you give. Well, actually, this isn't for the tag belts anyway, so it doesn't matter. I still don't see an upside for Nikki and the Bellas and Paige winning. I think the money is that Fatal Influence needs to continue to be built up. Fallon and Lainey being the taggers out of the group, JC Jane kind of being the singles wrestler out of them. They definitely need more hype than let's just call it Team Legacy. So yeah, go ahead and give me Fatal Influence in this one.
I'm actually going to do a similar pick for really the reasons you've listed. The rub, the heat needs to go on the new champs. And this, if anything, will be a story about, Fatal Influence right now is the stronger squad in terms of, relationship. And I have a feeling the Bellas are going to kick Paige to the curb, and that's going to start a whole thing between them and Paige, which again I just shake my head at this whole thing. Like, why don't you have Paige go and compete with some of the, stars of now? Have her, wrestle against some of the new, the new blood rather than, and I know I'm talking about something that hasn't even happened yet, but if they go down this road and the Bellas turn on Paige and we get, the Bellas versus Paige, it's just going to be like, really? Come on now. But that's just me.
And the thing being, like, how then do you, because then the natural would be Paige teams up with somebody.
Yeah.
And who do you have kind of straggling around that would work in this scenario? I mean, I could see maybe, actually, I don't know who you'd throw in here, because, like, who do you have that's an up and coming young star who kind of needs that rub? Before the past couple of weeks, I would have said maybe Lyra Valkyria, but she seems to have been launched quite well at this point and have her own kind of thing going.
Her heel turn is something else. Let me tell you.
I don't know who else you really have in waiting right now.
Well, you have a returning Stephanie Vicaire.
But she, again, like someone who needs a bit of a rub.
Oh, I see what you mean.
And that you'd actually want to.
Sol Ruca?
No, I don't.
Who, by the way, has apparently gone missing now because she hasn't been on Raw, from what I understand, in quite a while. So
yeah,
nothing like giving her the Intercontinental Championship and then not writing her into television at all. So.
Yeah. Some of this stuff is puzzling, but then again, we don't always know what injuries are happening and who's banged up. Yeah. So, anyways, it would be nice to see Paige do some stuff, but maybe they're also kind of trying to hide her. I don't know.
I'm going to go 2.5 stars on this one. I don't think this is going to be a great match. I think it's going to be a ho-hum average match. I don't think it's going to be awful, but I think it's going to be average.
I'm going to go with a 3.
Oh, Uncle Todd being the optimist of the two of us.
Partially because I was actually impressed with Brie and Paige as a tag team. I actually felt like, wow, they could kind of hang with Henley and Reed when they did have their match with them. I think Nikki probably doesn't have to do a whole lot in this, and I think JC Jane is enough. Though Fatal Influence is enough to really bump this up above average, unless something really goes astray here. I feel like it's going to be above average. I don't think it's going to be great. I think it'll be better than just meh.
Yep, I would agree.
All righty. Well, next up on our outline here, mixing this one in, we have the number one contenders match with Sami Zayn, the complaining Sami Zayn, the last good guy, the last whiner.
Last real good guy.
Yeah, the last real good guy. Facing Finn Balor, who won a fatal four-way to get this match, which I thought there was no way in hell Finn Balor was coming out of this as a number one contender. And I mean, it kind of makes me wonder if they're going to put Balor over Zayn here to further drive Zayn mad. You know what I mean? Like, are they just trying to do this to his character to torture him? I kind of like that, which also means they're probably not going to do that. Which I hate the fact that I'm already thinking along those lines. Man, I'd love to see Balor win, because I would actually like to see Balor actually have more than like that one match with Punk. I would like to, because
he's had two matches with Punk, Balor.
Oh, that's right. He had the one in Ireland, then he went to Chicago. You're right. But I would like to see him in the mix for a championship one more time, because, again, just watching him the last few weeks on SmackDown, I'm like, this dude can still go. He can kind of work with a few different people and body sizes, and damn, like, it really makes you kind of feel like it would be nice for him to get even a short run or even just a short mix in at that level, you know, after this time. And it would really get Sammy's goat, which would be great. Screw it. I'm going to go Finn Balor. I don't think that they put him in this match just for giggles. I think if you were just going to have Zayn go over, you could put someone like Priest or Royce Keys in there, and that would be perfectly serviceable to get them in a high-profile PLE match and still get Zayn over. I feel like putting Balor in there is almost like there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with this one at 3.5 stars.
Okay.
Because, again, like, even if it's a standard Sami Zayn match, which by all accounts it will be, it's still going to be really good with these two guys. So what do you say, sir?
I'm going to go with you on the winner. I'm going to say also, I think the heat, the muscles behind Finn. And I think, this will be a good contest of getting Finn over to be the undisputed WWE Champion's next challenger. I think it's going to be Punk. But I'm going to go 3.25 on this one. Sammy, the matches with Sammy have kind of gotten formulaic at this point.
Oh, totally.
Blue Thunder Bomb this, Haluva kick miss that. I mean, it's the same shtick over and over again. And it's sad because Sammy for a long time was kind of I felt was kind of an innovative, star and someone who, put some, some good, and again, it's not saying he's not putting good matches on, but it just feels like the matches have just been very like there was something lacking from the Trick Williams match that, set of matches he had with Trick. The match he had with Cody and Gunther where he won the championship was good, but I think it was just because of the concoction of the three of them. And so I'm kind of curious how this is going to go. I mean, Finn also, to me, I haven't seen the matches on SmackDown. You seem to be talking very highly of them. Finn's another one who has kind of a formula where he does his usual shtick, the sling blade, the 1941 or whatever, or 1917 or whatever it's called, into the coup de grace and all that sort of thing. And so
now they're calling it the shotgun drop kick.
The shotgun. Oh, I like that.
Where he comes across the ring, corner to corner, and hits the guy into the buckles. Yeah, that's how I've heard it referred to the last couple times. Okay. Which I think if it was 1917, whatever it was, like that is
the 1917 is when he gets the guy in kind of a reverse DDT sort of thing, and then lifts him up and does like a reverse suplex.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
or maybe he lifts him up and drops him in that. I think that's 1917 or something like that.
Yeah, he's been using the shotgun drop kick as the setup for the coup de grace.
Okay. So all that being said, I think I'm going to give this 3.25. I think it's going to be an above average match, but not by, I don't think these two are going to put a 4-star match on. Maybe they'll surprise me. But that's what I'm going with. Finn, I agree. Finn Balor is probably the one who's going to get the nod. And off we go with him challenging what I believe will be CM Punk for a third time.
All right. Excuse me. Let's go to the next one. We got winner keeps the human monies match. This is
human monies.
You rightly pointed out to me that I did not have the stipulation down for this. I missed that one.
That's a cool 100,000, baby. Cool 100,000.
And we got Danhausen versus Dirty Dom Mysterio. I think the biggest question here is who's in the cloning booth this time.
That is a great question. I don't know. I'd love for El Grande Americano.
Actually, you know who I think would be better?
Who?
Rey Mysterio with a Danhausen mask.
Oh, that would be good. That would be very good.
And it would, and this is cruel, but he would kind of fit right in with the Minihausens.
You son of a bitch. You stole it.
I'm just saying.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know, man. Like it feels like Danhausen's on a run. He's over like Rover. He's moving merch. He's
and again, let it not be said that I am not a gentleman and a fine gentleman at that. I will share this context from this weekend that apparently on AAA's weekly show, Dom, who had for a while been helping El Grande Americano, turned on him.
Oh.
And so I think it makes sense where the human monies are on the line and where they could book this where Danhausen is the underdog, that Dominic gets some comeuppance or at least gets a tit for tat from El Grande Americano, where he costs him the match, let's say, and he loses the human monies. So I'm actually going to go with Danhausen on this one because I think by the dynamics and politics of professional wrestling as they build toward what I think is the inevitable, main event match in AAA between Dominic Mysterio and El Grande Americano for the AAA Mega Championship, I think having El Grande Americano cost Dom Mysterio something that is, of course, supposedly really important to him, the 100,000 that has changed hands between the Judgment Day and Danhausen. I'm going to go with Danhausen on this one. But I'm going to go with a 3.0 rating.
Yeah.
I mean, Danhausen's matches, they're entertaining. They're above average from that sense. He is very serviceable as a wrestler. He does a good job, but I'm not going to go much beyond 3. So
I was about ready to pick Dom Mysterio here. However, getting the little background from AAA and seeing how they're really integrating a lot of the WWE talent into AAA and trying to kind of make a cohesive universe, which I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel about the War Raiders being your AAA champion, tag team champions. I don't know how I feel about Damian Priest, weekending down in AAA as like this dominant badass, and yet he's not really so much in WWE.
Yeah.
Or Dom holding the Mega Championship now for we're over a year at least, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
he's held the belt, hasn't really defended it a whole lot, but he's held the belt. You're right.
Yeah, that's where I would be curious if there are some AAA fans how they actually feel about some of that. Where it's the Gringos are. I loose interpretation talking about Dom Mysterio as a Gringo, but I mean you have the War Raiders are definitely not your typical luchadors. Although you have Ivar doing stuff that's probably it's like watching Godzilla do a backflip. Okay, yes, I watched this spectacle. I don't care who it is. That's just amazing. I just wonder how they feel about how fans there feel about the folks from up north, the big company now showing up in their promotion, kind of stealing the spotlight. That being said, I do agree with you. I think the money is on Danhausen, and that would make a lot of sense. So give me Danhausen. I'm going to go 2 3/4 stars because I have not been a huge fan of Dom's matches. I feel he's been very stale in his matches. I don't think I'm willing to say that Danhausen is, as good a hand as you're saying. serviceable is about as much as I would say.
I mean, you're 0.25 off from what I put. It's not like you and I are disagreeing that much.
It's a very important quarter star. It's a very important quarter star.
You know what Dom needs to do? He needs to adopt the John Cena approach to him doing the 619. I don't know if you've watched at all any of WWE Unreal Season 3.
Yes.
But I absolutely loved the whole thing about how he and AJ Styles were kind of doing that whole thing. And then
that was amazing.
And they're literally taking cues from the crowd in terms of what they do. And they start calling 619. And I love Cena's just like, AJ, clothesline me. I cannot do this.
Yeah. Yes. Which I love how Cena's just like, so I've never done a 619. I can't do a 619, but I'm going to, that's what the fans want. I'm like,
yep.
Holy crap. Like and time out just for a moment as we talk a little Unreal here, but like, I get it. Like it's a scripted reality show about a scripted sports show, but still it is one of those things that's kind of cool to be just like, wow, in a match of that magnitude, you're really just willing to go, all right, let's try this. It's like,
but that's what Dom needs to do is just tell Danhausen, clothesline me, because if I do a 6-1, I mean, he just looks so awkward doing it. It just doesn't look right.
Ever for him to come around on that.
Yeah.
John Cena would probably have looked more natural doing the 619.
Agreed.
That's saying something. So for a side bet, I think I'm going to agree with you. So the cloning machine is the big question here. I think El Grande Americano is in the cloning is, well, actually, let's just say El Grande Americano interferes.
Okay, so no cloning machine, just El Grande Americano interferes.
I'm just going to go with that, just in case it's not in the cloning machine. I mean, I would kind of think it's going to be because that's been the shtick, but maybe they are like, okay, got to give that a break. And
so I'm going to say he is going to interfere and help Danhausen win.
Yes.
All right. I am also going to take that side bet.
Do you think there's going to be any mini Hausens?
Yeah, there's always mini Hausens. It seems like that's becoming part of his shtick.
That's also why I kind of wonder if they're going to do it here or not. You know, kind of give it a break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good question.
Because the funny thing is, like, it seems like Danhausen and creative, I'm not sure how much he has control over it or not, but it feels like they're like one step ahead, like they're ready to kind of do the next gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Actually, you know who will be great? Eventually, we need to have R-Truth come out of the cloning machine.
That could be.
But what, instead of dressed up as Danhausen or anything like that, like he has to be dressed up as someone completely different.
Just come out as Ron Cena?
That could be good. I'd go with that.
We really haven't have we seen R-Truth in a while? Like I haven't watched SmackDown, so that's probably my bad. But
he has been showing up with Priest. There's still the tag champs.
Okay.
And he did have that whole thing at he was doing some skit work with Danhausen at MSG when they did Saturday Night's Main Event. So, but yeah, he has not been necessarily a big presence on TV for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Up next, again, thank you to a correction from the man they call Tim. We have a United States Championship match with Trick Williams defending against a returning Baron Corbin.
Who?
Because everybody was just clamoring. They've been chanting his name for the past year.
I had no idea he came back until I finally saw like Cage Side Seats mentioned, and I'm like, really? Because for a while the rumor was he was going to be like in the cloning machine, like part of like the Danhausen bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden I saw, he inserted himself in Trick and Carmelo's like situation.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, why? So what is his gimmick? Like I honestly have not seen any TV with him. So I
think I missed this bit of SmackDown the week that he was there.
Okay.
I don't understand it. I really don't. Like, of all the people you could bring back, we're getting the return of Baron Corbin and Big Cass back to back. Like,
Big Cass,
seriously?
I'm a little more interested in because they have like a personal story they can kind of play off of with him a little bit, which I think can bring some character depth and some interesting stuff. and there's rumors Enzo Amore is coming back. Although their tag team, if that's what they're building to, their tag team really sputtered out on the main roster. So I don't know why you would try to bring that back, other than to highlight them for a couple months and then it sputters out again. You know what I mean? Like they're very one dimensional in what they do, but both of them together have been through some personal struggles. And I think there's some there's some meat on the bone there to, if they approach the story the right way, to have it be kind of like them coming back and trying to realize missed potential because of the struggles that they had. I hope they kind of take that. It seems like they're going that way, because that's at least what Cass's stuff has kind of been focused on, is how much he was, a problem child and struggling and all this sort of thing.
Which is kind of crazy, because I don't know that WWE has done that before in hyping somebody's return, or even just in terms of like legit kind of referring to their own firing and stuff like that. So that's kind of interesting. Yep. I don't get the Baron Corbin thing. I really don't. Of all the people you could bring back, like,
it seems like they didn't do anything different with him. Like, that was always his problem. It's like, I'm Baron Corbin and I'm just going to show up and do stuff. And it's like,
I'm generic heel. Number 3. You know what I mean? Like, I am create a character that, a lazy 7-year-old put together.
Yep.
Including the name. Like, I don't get it. Like, honestly, if you had shown me Karrion Kross coming back, that would have at least made more sense. There's more juice and more personality to that character than there ever has been for Corbin through any of the 18 iterations that they tried, like Lucky Corbin and this and that. Like, nobody gives a crap about this guy.
Yeah.
But yet he comes back and now automatically he gets a U.S. championship thing.
Where's Carmelo in all this?
Just pissed off in a corner that, like, really, I've been hanging around waiting and waiting and waiting. I finally, get in here, and now you're bringing in this chucklehead.
I'm smelling popcorn in the house. Oh, someone made some popcorn.
I thought you were making a joke. I didn't realize that you were actually someone's cooking popcorn at your place.
Someone's making popcorn.
Now, are you a Jiffy Pop household, or are you just microwave popcorn?
All I know is my wife has bought popcorn seed and we throw it into a kettle and pop it up. So not even Jiffy Pop.
So you're like old school.
Oh, it's old school in our house. Yes, indeed. Yes.
Look at you.
Oh, yeah.
Like the pioneers.
Healthy.
Well, I don't know about healthy. You've got to put some oil in there, right?
Hey, it's saying, can we pause for a moment?
Okay.
It's saying recording wants to access other devices on your local network.
I am not seeing that.
Zencaster. I'll say allow. Okay. Does anything look weird on your end?
No, everything seems to be.
Okay, I don't know why it was doing that. I don't have the sound wave at all on my side, but I don't see the sound wave, but
you just like disappeared and came back.
So did you.
That was interesting. It's still recording, so it didn't stop.
Okay.
Let's just hope that it stays that way. Let me hang on a second. Let me note this down.
Sorry about that.
Hey, it's not your fault.
And it was totally not planned for this to happen when I started to do the popcorn bit, because as you were talking, I'm just like, ooh, I'm smelling popcorn.
All right. I am going to make sure I highlight that. Just so. All right.
Sorry, bringing it back. Yeah, so Baron Corbin, generic as all get out.
Is there any way in which he wins the title here?
No.
But if they do,
this is all about Trick Willie, baby. All about Trick Willie.
But is there a way that Baron Corbin wins because of interference from Carmelo?
Yes, there could be some accidental interference where Carmelo means to do something. Like, Carmelo doesn't benefit from causing Trick to lose. He wants to beat Trick to show that he's the better man. So it doesn't, in the story, it doesn't make sense for him to make Trick lose. Now, he could, maybe if Corbin looks like he's getting like an unfair advantage or something like that, he comes down to try to even it up so Trick has a shot and he can face the guy that he wants to beat, not the one that's and by virtue of him being there, he causes something that allows Baron to win. But I mean, that would put heat on Baron because I think the fans would be like, we don't want you as the champion. We want Trick as the champion.
Yeah.
But that doesn't benefit Carmelo at all. You know what I mean? It just puts heat on Corbin and it puts, babyface heat on Trick. So I'm thinking this is just a holdover until we get later in the year. And unless they're waiting to get Carmelo and him in the ring in like Royal Rumble, they're trying to stretch this out so that they maybe have them face off in October, maybe before Survivor Series. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. So December is kind of a dead month because, you don't want to run any big angles then because you're starting your road to WrestleMania in January. So the only thing I can think of is they try to do Carmelo and Trick in September, October before Survivor Series, or maybe they have them eventually meet at Survivor Series. Maybe that's where they have the match. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they throw Corbin in to kind of be a bit of a distraction that he's a threat, but he's not a threat. So for me, I'm putting Trick Williams on this one. I just don't see him losing the match. I could be wrong, but I just don't see the benefit and the storyline implications for him to lose. And because it is Baron Corbin, I'm going to go 2.5 stars. What is your call on this one, sir? You look like you just drank a Mountain Dew. You're just like working through the aftertaste in there.
I'm gonna regret this. I'm saying it right now. I'm gonna regret it.
Don't you go against the lemon pepper stepper. Come on now.
I'm going with Baron Corbin.
Oh, dang it. No.
And give me this one at
oh my God. If you say 4 stars, so God help me. I'm gonna bring the heavyweight title out just to spite you.
Give me 3 stars.
Oh my God.
And then give me a side bet of Carmelo interference results in Baron Corbin winning. Because I think because the more I think about it, this is another way to get more heat between Trick and Carmelo. Like you got me to lose the damn title. I should never lost to this chucklehead, and now I gotta go get my title back, and then I gotta beat your ass. Like it's a way where you can have them interact, but also kind of keep them separated a little bit. You can have Trick be somewhat occupied with having to get his title back, so you keep that separation while also still keeping a lot of heat between those two.
I'm going to do a side bet and say Carmelo tries to interfere. But Trick wins. Never mind. I'm not going to do it. That's stupid. Never mind. I'm going to go conservative on this one.
Yeah. Like I said, I might regret this one, but the more I've thought about it, I'm like, that makes a lot of sense from a way of, because that's always the struggle in wrestling, right? You got to try and keep opponents separated to a certain degree, but also still interacting. And most of the time you have to do that by just not having them. It's just a war of words. It's promo battles and this and that and the other, or maybe like one, waylays them from behind or something. Like, this is an actual way that you could do it in a match, which granted probably means they won't do it just to spite the fans, because this would actually logically make sense. And it takes place within the confines of a wrestling match. Mm-hmm. It just kind of makes a little too much sense to me. So I'm going to go out on a limb for this one.
I'm of the school of thought that a long title reign for Trick Williams translates to a major babyface moment for Carmelo when he finally beats him. If you have Baron win, it cheapens. Yes, it puts heat on Baron in the short term, and it gives Trick some chase.
Mm-hmm.
But I look at Trick as he's kind of like, and I hate to say it this way, he's not like The Rock, but in some ways he is like The Rock in that you need him to marinate in his greatness, to kind of get him over more long term. Like him being a long-term U.S. champion is of greater benefit than hot-shotting the title over to Corbin for a month or two.
I mean,
that's my take.
I
hear what you're saying. You're not wrong. You are not off your nut. But that's just how I view Trick, and I may be at odds with the booking squad.
And I mean, I think it's a valid opinion. However, I think the benefit of a character like The Rock, like Trick, is that like they kind of carry themselves the same whether they have the title or not. Like they still think they are God's gift, whether they have that belt or whether they don't. And I think that allows you to step away from they've got to have a good long reign. Like, not really, because Trick going to come out and still talk his smack, and he's still going to come in and try and beat your ass and all that, with or without the title. So that I feel like there's an opportunity there.
Yeah.
Like I said, I might regret it.
I think you will.
Next up, we have the Battle of the Europeans, just because everything else has a stipulation or a title, and I just had to come up with something here. We have the Ring General Gunther versus...
Oh, good on you, sir. Good on you. There it is. General. You put the hard G on that one. Bam.
Versus the manager, General, Nick Aldis.
You're going to be the boss's bitch. I like that.
This is going to be very interesting because we have said one of the best in-ring performers of the wrestling arts versus a guy who has not had a match in years.
Yep.
But by all accounts, if you look at the dude, seems like he's kept himself in shape. So
he fills that suit out rather nicely.
Oh my gosh, dude! Like
he looks like he's bursting out of the suit, to be honest.
Yeah, he's one of those dudes that like it is tailored to within an inch of his life. Like you can't gain more than 1.5 pounds or lose more than 1.5 pounds because it's either baggy or you're not gonna be able to button that shirt no more. So this could be very interesting because I am completely unfamiliar with Nick's wrestling style, but the fact that he was so heavily factored into NWA makes me feel like this could be a really good throwback match. In terms of some technical wrestling, in terms of also, big meaty men slapping meat. Because neither of these, see?
The hell, you gave me a hard time for that, and look at you, like just dropping it out there like it's no one's business. My God, look at them.
But I see, the thing is, I make it sound good.
Oh God. Just stop. I'm sorry. Gorilla Monsoon. Will you stop?
No, I shan't. I don't think I will.
I'm going to get the belt in a second.
It could be a very interesting match. I hope that we don't get shortchanged and this gets turned into like a 5 to 8 minute match or something like that. Like I would really like to see a decent length to this match so we kind of get some ring psychology and allow it to build, because of course now they might also, Aldis might be like, I can only go 10 minutes, so who knows. I think, dear God, I hope Gunther goes over, because we've already had him look like kind of a jabroni to various people. Like they really need to begin rebuilding the fearsome character of Gunther, because it's taken some hits between the Pat McAfee thing, and some of the other stuff that's gone on. It's just like you had a killer heel, and now he's kind of just another guy in some cases, which kind of sucks. So I'm going to go with Gunther. I'm going to be real optimistic with this one. Give me 3 3/4 stars. I think this could low-key be one of the matches of whichever night it happens to be on.
So I am going to... So all conventional wisdom would say Gunther wins. But yes. I am not a conventional person.
No, you're not.
You well know.
Now, the thing is, I need you to explain to me how this then plays out with Gunther going forward, because that's the main thing that I get with, is that Gunther could retire or retire Nick Aldis, and he goes scurrying back to his GM gig. What is the the story going forward if Gunther takes an L to a guy who hasn't wrestled in several years?
I think it is similar to the Sammy match. I think it drives Gunther insane, and he is now the one pursuing a match with Nick Aldis, who returns to his GM duties and says, "Hey, I went out to prove a point. I made the point. I don't need to wrestle again." And so now Gunther becomes obsessed with getting Nick Aldis back in the ring so he can beat him and beat him soundly, and then he does. That is what I think. There's a mini program between the two of them that goes through the fall where it leads to a match, maybe at Survivor Series between the two of them, where Gunther is looking to save face. And it's kind of like the Rocky Apollo Creed thing, right? You know, everyone believes Apollo Creed put on a show and basically carried this guy for 15 rounds, that this guy is not real, that Apollo Creed embarrassed himself in the match. I think it's going to be like that. Now, that's my headcanon. That's my booking. So that is how I justify it. All that to say, I think you're right. I think Gunther does go over because it continues to build up his career killer gimmick and so forth. But at some point, that has to come to an end. You know what I mean? Like, or not come to an end, but it can't always be the God-given truth that anytime Gunther gets in a ring with someone, they have to go down, you know, because it just...
Yeah. But I mean, I think you have to have a worthy opponent take him down. I mean, again, the thing with Pat McAfee is not so much that Pat McAfee,
but Gunther doesn't take Nick Aldis seriously. Like that's the point. Is like this whole thing of him facing someone who hasn't wrestled in a while goes two ways, because on the one hand, he's been extraordinarily arrogant and you know, laughing at this entire thing like, you don't even belong in the same ring as me.
Mm-hmm.
And what if Aldis is like Rocky and comes in and you know, God damn it, he thinks this match is for real, you know, like it's not a show, like it wasn't Rocky. Like Nick comes in and he's going to prove a point. I kind of like that story, and I'm wondering if they might go with it, because it does put Gunther in kind of a weird spot, but it's not a spot where it's not unrecoverable for him to once again become the career killer, because he can come, because again, he's not wrestling him to retire him. He's wrestling him because he's pushed him to the brink, and now Aldis feels the need as a man to stand up to this guy who's pushed him beyond his breaking point and fight him in a match to settle whatever beef they have. Now, you could be right, and it's a one match, one and done. He's back to being the GM, and we're past it. Or it can go for me. Like, I don't think it's a long-term thing that goes to like wrestle. Like, I don't think Aldis becomes a full-time, you know, competitor again. I do think he eventually goes back to being a GM. And quite honestly, in this scenario, I think he does go back to being a GM, and Gunther is pulling out all stops to get him out of it so that he can get him back into the ring. So that's where I think this is going, but that's just my sick and twisted, you know, world. I'm actually going to go, because it is these two, I'm going to go 4.25 stars.
Whoa.
Oh yeah. I'm expecting big things from this match. Big things.
So the thing is, I patently disagree with the fact that it needs to be a given that when Gunther steps into the ring, that it is over for the other person. I am still a big fan of doing a once a quarter Human Resources Raw where Gunther comes out and everybody who is getting future endeavored just takes an L. And Gunther works the entire 3 hours just himself.
Oh my God.
And they even have like a little corner stool, and it's just like, next up.
So are you saying you want Nick Aldis to be future endeavored? Is that what you're saying?
No,
here?
I'm just saying, like, I in a sick, twisted way, I still want that to be the way that they write off talent that they're letting go.
Right.
Male, female, it does not matter. Just Gunther, and it could even be like sneak attacks, like the 24/7 championship. Like just a ref is following him around, and just people are just eating pins and submissions from Gunther all night. And then at the end of the night, well, ladies and gentlemen, these 12 people are now no longer with WWE because they lost to Gunther. And you know, we have like Gunther is like the Human Resources champion. We get a new title belt. It would be even cooler than the crown jewel belt, because we would see it 4 times a year instead of just once a year.
By the way,
And it's more merch.
The Crown Jewel belt is no longer in the title section of shopwwe.com. So I'm sorry, sir. You have to save your $2,000 to buy yourself the midsection shield for your body. So,
but where is it? Did they just take it off the site completely?
I think it may have sold out. I don't know. It's not on.
If that's sold out at $2,000, there must have been like 2 of them on the in their warehouse. They can't,
folks. I literally want to get a picture of Uncle Todd with this belt where it's just like it's over his face, where he's just like, you know,
it'd be like it's literally like it would be like the person, you know, like the old timey thing where the guy doesn't have any money for clothes, so he's wearing a barrel.
Yeah,
like that's what it looks like when they put this belt on people.
Basically, yes.
Oh my gosh. All right, well, we'll see how that turns out. Next up, we have a 6-man tag match, and this features, let's see here, Los Angeles Knight versus Solo Sikoa, Royce Keys versus Jimmy and Jey Uso and Jacob Fatu, or as we put it earlier, the Bloodline versus a coalition of the willing. And who the frack knows where this is going? If anything, I just hope that this somehow leads to LA Knight going up against Roman Reigns. I would love to see LA Knight just tearing Roman a new one. I think that would actually be a really great feud. However,
now,
we all
I
know
haven't
that's
been
not
watching
happening.
SmackDown. I've been watching SmackDown. So what is Solo's deal at this point? It seems like he is going against Roman and not wanting to become part of the bloodline.
No.
Is there a hint of him going in the direction of the bloodline, do you think? Or
I don't know, just because we are kind of in a weird place of like a slightly unhinged, unpredictable Solo. I love how he's showing up with like the matching socks and turtleneck combo. Like I don't know what is going on with the wardrobe or whatever, but I love just Solo randomly showing up in places dressed like he's on some 1970s cop show. It's fan friggin' tastic. So he rejected the bloodline, kind of said that he would, and then he did his Solo thing of making the face, and then he takes everyone out. He has been kind of trying to get into Royce Keys' orbit to be buddy with him. And then apparently this past week on Raw, he shows up with Seth Rollins and offers to watch his back, like Seth did for Cody going up against Roman.
Okay.
And then apparently Seth didn't take too kindly to that. So, I mean, he's kind of all over the place. No, I don't know where they're going to land with him. You know what I mean? I mean, they've already taken away his, bloodline B team, and now it's just him. Really, just like he's kind of a man without a country at this point, and I kind of, in a weird sort of way, dig it, because you really don't know what he's going to do next, which kind of makes him very interesting to me.
Yeah.
But eventually, you do have to figure out something for him to do and a direction to go. But right now, it's kind of anyone's guess. Like him showing up and kind of offering his services to Seth Rollins felt very out of left field, so we'll see. But
is there any dissension happening between any three on these teams? Because I know Jacob for like I remember seeing this Instagram reel where these two guys are talking about the bloodline thing and how they find it hysterical that every time Jacob talks to Jimmy, it's really civil, but anytime he talks to Jay, it's like, shut your punk ass, It's just
which
is that still going on? Is there still some dissension there?
I feel like, yeah. And I feel like that's merited, because I feel like that in a way, like, so like Jacob is kind of speaking for all the smart fans in the world.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of channeling through them. It's like all the people in the stadium want to yeet and all that. And all the internet wrestling fans are basically like, get that punk ass out of here. Like all that. So it's like, it is kind of funny.
Yes.
So, I mean, dissension ish. There is little to no respect from Jacob towards Jay.
Now, what about between LA, Solo, and Royce? Are they all on the same page, or is it all kind of
I think it's one of those things where LA is willing to work with them because he hates the Usos and the Bloodline that much.
Okay.
Which is kind of enough because you also have the Royce Solo dynamic and
which is funny given that LA tagged with Jimmy and Jay at WrestleMania.
Yes.
So,
yeah, it's a very interesting dynamic, and I don't know. I've stopped trying to believe in the LA Knight main event push. I just keep seeing avenues for it to happen, and then the car drives past the avenue. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
And it's like it's very frustrating because it feels like you could do a hell of a lot more with this guy than what you're doing. You know, like you've got once again you've got the clogged toilet at the the championship level of Roman Reigns, but yet you have a dynamic guy who people dig, who would be great chasing or could even fill that void. You know, if you took the title off him, but it's I don't know. That being said, I kind of feel like the money here is in. Well, it has felt like the coalition of the willing has gotten the upper hand at times, but then again, we are heading into go home week, so maybe this is the week that the bloodline leaves the coalition laying, and then we get into SummerSlam, and the coalition goes over. That kind of feels like it would further some more stories, as opposed to just the bloodline wins and we the one and all that, and which now, as I say that, definitely means that the Usos and Fatu are going over because that's just what we're doing, and I'm a miserable old bastard because of it. I've jaded myself completely and talked myself into a corner here. Who do you think's going to win this thing? Because I just hate everything now.
For reasons that I will state later, I am going to go against Triple J. It's not going to be Jimmy J and Jacob. No.
Okay.
No. It's going to be LA, Solo, and Royce going over, baby. But it's going to serve a larger purpose for later on in the event.
I'll be very anxious to hear this.
And my star rating for this is probably going to be, I'll say 3 and 3.25 stars.
And more importantly, what's the over-under on super kicks?
I'm going to set that at about 10.
All right. You going to take the over or the under?
I'm going to take the over.
Yeah, I would probably go with that as well.
Yeah.
God, I hate this universe.
I know. And I will be counting the super kicks as I watch the match. So, you want me to put that in the side bet for both of us that we're going to set the over under and we're going to both take the over on 10?
Yes. And also you could add in an Oxford comma after Solo just because it will bother me. Thank you.
I thought the and would be enough for you, but
no, I am Oxford comma ride or die.
I hate. You know what? Somehow Sammy has made that phrase "ride or die" the most annoying phrase for me ever.
I can see that.
Every time he comes down the ring, ride or die, I want to slap him across the face. So slap your mama.
Hey mama.
Hey mama.
Whack. Only but one location, so it's nearest you.
God. On the corner of Crenshaw and.
I so want to go LA, Solo, and Royce. But I just have a feeling it's going to be the fracking bloodline, and I'm
going to call it. It's not the bloodline anymore. It's Triple J. That's what it is. Jimmy J and Jacob. Triple J. Just go with it. Go with your gut, baby.
No, actually, no. I'm going with my heart. I'm going with the coalition of the willing.
All right.
And
actually, I'm going to call it the COW, the cow.
Yeah. That works.
I was going, but just real quick aside.
Yes.
There's a reel that I saved on Instagram. Guy cooking on what's is it a Blackstone that you have where it's just the flat, iron surface?
Mm-hmm.
He like I saved this because I wanted to see how he did this. He made this. It's kind of like a fried rice and pick your protein sort of like he fries up the rice on his Blackstone.
Yeah.
And then he cooks up the steak and the chicken as the protein,
Yep.
separates them out so people can put on whatever. But when he does the cooking, he puts the rice on and he puts on what I can only imagine is either hoisin sauce or something on the rice, mixes it all up.
Soy
But
sauce.
Every so often, soy sauce. Every so often, you see him crack a beer in the middle of it. And when he cracks the beer, he's like, yeah.
Nice.
I have no idea if that's an LA Knight shout out or not, but it cracks me up when he does it. He just all of a sudden cracks the beer. Yeah.
So that is one of the great things about a Blackstone is you can do stuff like that. And I kind of was in a point where I needed to get a new grill anyways, because our old one was just getting kind of shabby. It was going to need replacement parts and all that. So when we got the Blackstone, I kind of bought in the hype, and I like the fact that you could do like breakfast, you can do pancakes, you fry your bacon on it. I also like the fact that you can do like, because it's flat, you can cook like fish, stuff like that, things that you don't necessarily want to cook in your house, like haddock, like pan fried haddock is lovely, except when you're in your house.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's not so lovely because then you just smell, fried fish forever for, the next week. But doing fried rice is one of the great things about having the Blackstone, because you can, if provided you don't have like the really, really small one. And even then, I mean, I guess you may just make a smaller portion, but if you have a decent sized one, so I've got like the 4-burner, but it's not giant. I think there's actually another size that's bigger. But I can do that. I can put the protein on one side and the rice on the other. And then in the middle, you leave enough space so that there you can drop your like 3 or 4 eggs, scramble those up a little bit, and then mix them in with the rice. However, what I've started doing, because I found this at a certain place that I'm not going to mention right now because I don't want to promote somebody on the podcast that ain't paying us, but you do the riced cauliflower, which comes frozen. Only takes like 5 to 7 minutes on the Blackstone to kind of warm up, thaw, and you let it brown a little bit. Then you put your soy sauce on and everything, but you kind of let it cook up a little bit, and it still has enough kind of chew to it that it's like eating rice, but you're kind of cheating because you're kind of getting a vegetable. But no, that's a great use of Blackstone is doing the stir fry like that and having enough air.
I actually have. So I have my Fuego grill, which has the normal grill part, but I actually bought a plate that is like a Blackstone sort of plate where it's just the flat iron.
You got me. I didn't jump this time, but you got me.
We're
talking about grills. Wow, the excitement there. It's like, oh.
Well, then tell her we're talking about wrestling. She'll be even more excited.
Yeah, and we're talking about wrestling. Let's see. She liked the wrestling better than the grills.
No,
which makes sense.
Yeah, do the opposite.
So what's up?
Friend of the show, Kaylin.
Yeah, you're going into your room to stay awake for another 10 hours. Okay.
I gotta make paper crowns somehow.
Paper crowns?
Yeah, it was an idea. I thought it'd be a nice thing to do.
That's easy.
But I gotta decorate them.
Oh, well, okay.
Stickers and stuff to decorate them, so I gotta improvise and make my own.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to say, I thought you were having difficulty calculating how to make the crowns. I'm like, even a schmo like me who's not that artistic can figure that out. I was surprised. All right. Well, good night. Is there any words of wisdom you'd like to share with Tim and or our listeners? Actually, boy, here we go. I'm going to smack myself right in the face with this one of these days.
And I shall laugh when it happens.
I know you will, because you're just that nice of a guy. Any words of wisdom for Tim and or our listeners?
As for current updates, Ryan Gosling is now announced as the new Ghost Rider. Very happy about that. Yes. We have a new Black Panther that was just announced as well. We got RDJ displaying his new Doom voice for Doctor Doom. Very nice indeed. We had Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. Also,
Deadpool.
people are Jean Grey because it was a jean suit and it was gray. People are
Well, but there's also but there's also like in Deadpool canon, there's some significance to like the gray Deadpool suit beyond Jean Grey, I think. But
I still think it could be a Jean Grey reference. You never know. Anything could be a
totally.
reference. But yeah, I thought that was cool.
Actually, was Hugh Jackman on the Marvel panel as well?
I don't remember.
I didn't see him.
I don't know.
Interesting.
On Marvel, I didn't see him. X-Men was there, but I don't know. He might have been on the panel, and I just didn't see it. But yeah, apparently fans didn't know it was actually him up until the panel thing. So people were just taking photos with him, thinking that he was just like a Deadpool cosplayer. That'd be a really fun interaction.
That's a very Ryan Reynolds sort of thing.
Yeah. What else? I'm trying to think. I think that was pretty much all the updates.
What about your big happenings next week?
What's big happenings? Oh yeah, I'm going to the BTS concert next week.
Woohoo! Nice.
Do you know who BTS is?
They're a K-pop band.
Hey, he got it right. He knew.
Do you know what the Korean translation of BTS is?
I'm not even gonna try. I'm not even gonna fake
It's really
it. No.
easy. It's just Bulletproof Boy Scouts.
What is it?
Bangtan is just Bulletproof Boy Scouts in Korean.
Okay. Nice.
Is that a shoot off of the Bullet Club? AJ Styles and
kind of
Finn Balor and BTS? Probably not.
Bullet Club.
That's a video to do. Conspiracy theories. Is BTS connected to this? That'd be kind of funny.
That would be rather interesting.
It would.
Yeah.
Get right on that, Tim. Get right on that. All right. So, well, good night.
Ooh,
Oh.
Also, Stray Kids started their new world tour, so they're on tour right now.
Nice.
We're very happy with that. It's looking really good.
Did they announce dates?
No, they just randomly started the tour, and no one knows what the heck they're doing.
It's the story of my life.
But yeah. Also, Waterbomb happened. I don't know much about Waterbomb, but Waterbomb just happened, and a new boy group.
That sounds like a balloon that had water in it that blew up.
A water balloon that had. Anyways, yeah, we're confused as well. All right. Well, good night. Get some sleep. You have work tomorrow. Oh, you'll be all right. I know you could do it. Good night. Love you.
They call her the working woman. Trying to do the Rush song. Look at you wrestling with your microphone line there. I know. I was going to say, you're going to put it in a front face lock, or what's going on there? Jeez.
Deliver a spine buster. Where were we? Oh, yes.
So you picked the Coalition of the Willing.
I'm gonna give. You know what? I'm
What is
actually
your
gonna.
star rating?
I'm gonna agree with you. 3.25 feels about right for this.
All right.
I feel like 3.5 is kind of that. At least for me, is that inflection point of like, oh, and now it's really seriously good. You know what I mean? But there's to me like between 3.25 and 3.5. That is a very wide gulf. Just for a quarter point. Yeah, we cleared up we finished up everything on the Blackstone, right? We talked about that.
Yes. I was just saying how I have basically a cast iron kind of flat surface that I can put on my grill, so the burners heat it up, and it's kind of like a Blackstone, but not.
Does it have like an edge around it, or is it just literally flat?
I mean, it has like holes around the edge to let air come up through, because again, the burners of the grill are kind of heating the surface. So I haven't used it this season, but now I'm kind of getting the itch to do it, because what's nice is, you don't get any flare-ups that way, because, everything is just on the surface, and I'm kind of starting to think through whether I should just start cooking my meats that way, because too often I get the flare-ups and I'm tired of them. So.
Oh, and especially if you're cooking anything that is a little fattier than normal. And especially, well, actually the worst is like, so if you if you have just a traditional gas grill, and you're doing one of those deals where it's like a family gathering or friends or whatever, and you're like, okay, you bring the burgers, and I have no problem with frozen burgers, provided they are the right frozen burgers. I have never had a problem with Bubba burgers. I will give that one endorsement because it just seems like they are the right mixture of fat to meat and all that. Like, someone brings in like the Wally World friggin', the ones that you get in the tubes that are approximately like 4 feet high, from like the big old box stores. Holy hell, within a minute it's not a gas grill anymore. It's just a contained grease fire. And your burgers come out this weird mixture of raw and absolutely charred and nasty and greasy, and it's awful.
Yep.
That is one of the things I like about the Blackstone, is that you don't have to deal with that. So it's like you're cooking and it cooks the way you want it to. I do appreciate that. And the fact that you can, with like different things, you can kind of put some butter on there and this and that and the other, and you can kind of baste it around in that. And that just makes it a lot easier, I think.
Yep.
It is a definite learning curve. And also I like for the Blackstone, as opposed to like just having like something to put on your grill, like having the edge and having like the lip to kind of contain things is super helpful, especially when you're doing like fried rice. Cause I mean, as it is, like a few grains are going to go here and there as you're like tossing stuff around. But oh my gosh, if that was just flat and there was no edge to it, there'd be barely anything left when I was cooking. I'm not that coordinated.
Yeah.
All right. So we kind of derailed ourselves there. So where are we now? Oh yes. We are here for the interim WWE Women's Championship ladder match. This is as a result of Rhea Ripley being injured and not able to defend her championship. I really like...
Who's Jad Cargill?
Oh, I missed an E. Sorry. I really like this concept, and I feel like this is something that should have been done a long time ago. The idea of, okay, this person who has the championship is now unable to defend it. So instead of just saying, oh, they're stripped of the championship and they got to start at the bottom of the mountain, this idea of, okay, they have to relinquish the championship because they're out for the next couple months. We're going to have an interim championship through a tournament like this. And then as soon as that person is ready, whoever is the champion at that point. So weird. You just like jumped off the screen again. I'm just hoping that these problems are not going to result in, this being a complete miss. Oh well, we'll find out together. But I like the fact that the champ then gets a first shot as soon as they're ready to get the championship back. Like, it's a good way to move on, but at the same time, you don't have to completely rewrite everything. You can pause things for a little while and storylines and stuff. I don't know why they haven't done this in the past. Like, this just seems to make way too much sense. And it works out well because you manage to get some really interesting names into the mix here, as we will see, where we have Tiffany Stratton, who I believe is still the reigning ladies U.S. champion.
Yes.
Versus Jade Cargill versus Chelsea Green versus Charlotte Flair versus TBD. Man, this could be really good. I also am just hoping that, Charlotte Flair manages to walk out of this in one piece. Because when you're wrestling with 2 knee braces with as many injuries as she's had, you're just hoping for the best. I hope Chelsea Green doesn't take like a really insane bump, because that's kind of what she does. And I hope everyone gets out of this okay. We will probably have to reconvene here. I'm guessing they'll have the final one announced on Raw, because I think they did 2 on SmackDown. So I imagine by Monday night, Tuesday morning, we will have an answer who the sixth woman is in this match. We might have to adjust depending on who that is. So we'll pick a winner tentatively now. I imagine
there's only 4 names here. So it would be the 5th woman.
5th woman. Well,
should there be a 6th?
Maybe there is going to be a 6th. I don't know. I think it might be 6. I think it's going to be 6 in the match. So maybe I missed another TBD. Oh boy.
Let me just check here.
Sort
Ladder
of weak.
match. No, it's 5. It is Charlotte,
Really?
Jade, Tiffany, Chelsea, and whoever the 5th is.
Okay.
So it's only 5.
I would imagine they're going to announce that on Raw.
Yeah.
So, or they'll have a match to determine who that is. So we may, if we make a significant adjustment to this, we will probably have an addendum, or maybe I will interrupt this recording and insert that in there. We will see. However, as it stands currently, we have Tiffy, Jade, Chelsea, Charlotte, and the mysterious TBD. You've already got yours down there. You want to say who
I'm
you
going
got?
Chelsea. I am Team Chelsea. She is getting crowned. Crown her ass. You know what I mean? Like give her the belt and give her a run. And what better opponent for her to have to face than Rhea Bloody Ripley? Have Chelsea Green as this interim women's champion, and then the real women's champion comes back wanting to get vengeance. And Chelsea, while she can be a very convincing, kind of play that underdog babyface role right now in this state, it would be great to see her go on like a multi-month sort of run where she gets more arrogant and more out of just her gourd when it comes to being the champion. And then Rhea comes back and brings her back to reality by laying it in on her. So I'm going all Chelsea on this. I think it is Chelsea. This is the time to elevate. Michael Hayes wrote the check. Triple H is going to cash it, and we're going to give Chelsea her due because she has made chicken salad out of chicken boop, and I think it is her time, and this is an appropriate way to give her some flowers and some recognition for the great work she's done in a way that doesn't corner them in terms of the storytelling and what they want to do there. So that is my feeling is Chelsea Green.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think Tiffy you rule out just because she's already got a belt. I don't think we need to do Tiffy 2 belts right now. I think honestly, the person who sneaks into this match is Nia Jax, because she got through shenanigans eliminated out of that match with Charlotte Flair. I think she also had another match that was, I think it was a qualifying match for this, where it was also a DQ finish. And I think that she goes in there and she's focused on Cargill and on Flair and ends up clearing a lot of space here. So I'm going to go with Chelsea Green as well. I would love to see her hold the belt, Rhea come back, and then there be a program where through just a series of unfortunate events, Chelsea manages to hang on to this belt for a lot longer than anyone possibly thinks it could happen. Like just weird stuff, I would love that, because again, like you give Chelsea 2 months of just being kind of the feel good champ. But then, and you could have her have some legit great wins. But then when Rhea comes back, like that's when the weird stuff starts happening. You know what I mean? I think that would be great. And she is the most deserving. And she needs, I think out of anyone in this match, she probably not really needs, because she's already over. Fans love her, but I think that it's time. It is time for, it's time. It's Chelsea time.
That's right.
So these matches are always so hard to give a star rating to.
It's a ladder match.
I know, but it's like
you go high right away because the crazy crap they're going to do is going to overly inflate the star rating anyways. In fact, I might even bump up to 3.75 at this point. I won't go 4.
I was already going to go 3.75. Fine. Give me 3.75 too.
Am I missing any Oxford commas here?
No.
Okay, just checking.
Any side bets on this for this match?
Not. I mean, again, this is a lack of watching the product, and so I just don't know what a side bet here would be. It feels like it's going to be enough with the 5 of them doing kind of the car crash sort of way that these ladder matches go. So
so we already have Tiffy don't have peeps. Jade has her baddies. So you got B-Fab and who else?
Oh, Mitchin.
So, I mean, and in a ladder match, I mean, anything goes. So those two could totally interfere. If the Alexa Bliss injury was truly a work instead of a shoot, we could always have a return there. And who's the one that took her out? It was Jade, wasn't it?
I think it might have been, yeah.
So, I mean, you could have some interference there. I just don't feel like any of that is going to be that significant that it's going to really change things a whole lot. So I'm not willing to bet on who's doing what to whom. So I don't have any there. I do, however, have to take a quick break. I apparently have some family duties to attend to here for a moment. So I'll be right back.
Absolutely.
A few moments later.
Hello.
Did you get some popcorn?
I did.
I could tell by the way.
No, that's the corn on the cob I just had.
So you doubled up on corn.
Yes.
Good for you. Good for you.
Sweet corn too. Good stuff.
I am leaving this in. I am leaving this in right there.
You do that.
All right. I believe that takes us now to the Intercontinental Championship. With
so
Penta
we're both Chelsea Green 3 3/4 stars, right?
Yes, we are.
All right. Yes. So Intercontinental Championship. Yes, sir.
Penta defending against Chad Gable.
Hey,
which you got to
not just Chad Gable, hometown boy Chad Gable from Minneapolis, Minnesota, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, and he of one of the worst recent theme redos of in recent memory. Oh my gosh, terrible. Absolutely. It is. If it isn't AI driven, if that theme is not AI produced,
I'm going to look it up.
Whoever did it should be ashamed of themselves that it is that terrible and done by a human.
I'm going to listen to it right now. Chad Gable theme.
Awful.
Let's see. God damn it, there's an ad. 1 second.
Are your hemorrhoids fit to burst?
I think so.
Try rubbing this cream on it. It
For
might
some
also
reason,
cause your
I'm
head
not
to
getting
explode.
any sound. What the heck?
Have you tried unmuting?
I am.
Oh.
The hell? It's not playing anything.
I don't know. Just trust me.
No, hold on.
Oh my gosh.
1 second. It'll be here momentarily.
You're not even playing anything right now.
I am. I'm trying to play it. It's taking a while to load for. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Right. All right. Hold on.
I've been holding on for the last minute and
Here
a
we
half.
go.
Gosh, you're screwing with me.
Oh, yeah. Come on. What is wrong with this?
Are you
Philistine?
What was in that friggin' corn that you just ate?
I think that's phenomenal.
I think you are high as a kite. Anyways.
No, I am not high as a kite. I think this is quality. I think, sir, you need to reassess the judgment on that one. That is my 2 cents.
I think I need to reassess my friend group, honestly. I think that's what I need to do. I think I may need to close that circle by 1.
Come on now. 28 years you're going to close off because of Chad Gable's theme. Jeez. Oh, my gosh. You're crazy.
All right. So, of course, the whole, the full circle being closed here is Chad Gable's struggles with luchadors, which led him to becoming a luchador and then
losing his mask to be unmade a luchador.
Well, but getting injured to the point where they then had to bring in another person to be the person who's not a luchador to be a luchador, resulting in one of the biggest feuds of the past year against
one of the best matches of the year. Yes.
Yeah. And then now Gable's back to being Gable, going up against the luchador.
Who started this whole thing.
Just like you planned it.
It's luchador inception is what this is.
Oh my God. I don't know what level we're on right now.
I'm going to cut through the crap and just tell you, sir, right away. Chad Gable is my winner right here. I think he is going to end Penta's reign, and I think this is the time that he is going to get his due. I'm going to give this 4.25 stars. I think this is going to be a phenomenal match between these two. But I do think being in Minneapolis, given the momentum of heat that's on him right now as a babyface, and the way he's been playing up the respect of, being respectful of the luchador culture and that sort of thing, I think he and Penta are going to have a great match, and he's just going to get one over on Penta. I don't think Penta loses anything from this. I think he goes on. I mean, quite honestly, I'm starting to read stuff that it's an inevitability that he is going to get with his brother, and we're going to have the Lucha Brothers as they were formed in AEW, running rampant over the tag scene. Or maybe we have him as a potential challenger for the World Championship. Who knows? But I think Penta's had a great run. I think if the time is right for Chad Gable to become the Intercontinental Champion, and if anything, I think his run as El Grande Americano and the way that he's kind of handled the aftermath of that, I think has positioned him well to become champion, to finally get that singles gold that has eluded him, and to continue to build on. I mean, after that whole main event he had, that whole match he had, the mask versus mask match, that there was talk about, he really showed that sort of potential for even being a world champion, like the way that he carried himself throughout that angle, the way that the match went. And I think he's someone who is overlooked as a world champion. And I think this match is a stepping stone in that direction. So I'm going to go Chad Gable on this one.
Well, I'm not quite as bullish as you are, and ready to kind of,
That's fine.
As Dennis Green would, once said, crown his ass.
That's right.
Which really sounds weird when you think about it, because that's not where a crown goes. It just doesn't.
Whoa, play.
However, I will agree with you. I think this makes the most sense. Chad Gable winning. I'll take that action. And I also think, not just from a standpoint of his hometown, this is actually, I think, the best challenger that Penta has had, and is the most deserving to take the IC belt. Like you say, I don't think Penta loses anything out of this. I think Penta has gotten over to the point, and people dig him so much that he can lose this match, and it can wind up being a show of respect at the end of it, and everyone will be fine with that. I would like to see a little back and forth, maybe a little mini kind of respect feud of okay, I gave you your chance. How about you give me a chance to win it back? Maybe we get a 2 out of 3 sort of thing. I don't know. I will say I will disagree with you on the star rating.
Okay.
I think we're looking at 4.5 stars.
Okay.
So I will take Gable at 4.5 stars.
All right.
And there should be no shenanigans involved here. This should just be a match for a match. My goodness, do you need to take a moment and get some flosser or something?
I do. I need a flosser or something to get the
I just look over there.
Kernels. I'm just kind of
I have to expect you to pull half of a corn cob out, like my cat when they it's oh, there's where that went to.
Got to swish that water around and get that thing out. Good Lord. Oh, yeah. No, I
a glass of them there on your desk for when you're recording.
What's that?
Said keep a little glass of them there on your desk for recording, and please turn off your camera when you're doing it. The last thing we need is a piece of fully formed corn just hit your camera.
Oh God, last night, dude, I went upstairs getting ready for bed. I flossed my teeth after having that lobster, and I got to tell you, man, there was all sorts of treasures up there.
Lobster is awful.
Oh,
can I just tell you that?
Yes.
I have lived in New England 98% of my life.
Yes, you
all
have.
Right. I had a little detour living down in Virginia. How I didn't pick up a smoking habit from that, I don't know. But living in the tobacco belt. I don't love lobster.
Really?
And I'm kind of at a point now where I don't even like it.
Oh,
like it's just
I love it. I just need to clean up afterwards. Is all.
To me, it is like such a. It is such a B or C, even C level seafood to me. I will take.
Oh my gosh!
Give me swordfish. Give me scallops. Give me haddock. Cooked right, of course, because but a good swordfish on the grill, a little salt, a little pepper, a little lemon, leave it the frack alone. Mwah, that is amazing. Scallops, multi-purpose. You can deep fry that sumbitch, or you can put it on a flat grill with some butter, and either way, wrap it up in bacon, even better. It is the Swiss Army knife of seafood. Haddock, get a little brown butter action, some capers, or deep fry it, fish and chips, lovely. Lobster, man, is just stringy. It's an absurd amount of work. You got to crack through a friggin' skull, like a friggin'
It is
shell.
art. It is poetry in motion.
It is inconvenience for like this little scrapple of meat that you then, and the reason why you do that is because you really want the butter. Like, let's face it, you want the
glorious in butter.
And the lobster is basically a delivery device for the butter. Just have the butter.
It's
and
a sponge.
Skip out on this. It's not a sponge. That's the thing. Like, and actually, here's the thing. I will say this: lobster tails, what you really want is the claw meat. The claw meat is actually the best meat. The lobster tail is the one that's all stringy. Yeah, I said it. I said what I said.
I hope you get thrown out of the state overnight. I hope the lobster police come and haul your ass across state lines and say, no more, no, we don't want you anymore.
There's times that
you
I
don't
wish
respect
for that too,
the lobster.
In most of the places here in Maine, they roll up the sidewalks at 6:30. It's like, for God's sake, can we keep something open till 8?
Good
My
Lord.
goodness. Can we at least have a gas station that stays open past dark?
All right, let's get back to the
We do
topic
have
at
electric
hand.
lights in this state, don't we?
For someone who is so concerned about 46 rumors for the real and jabroni, you're taking your sweet ass time with this, my friend. Let me tell you.
Me?
Yes, sir, you.
All right, well, let's get on to the next match because I know that Tim has a vested rooting interest here. The Women's World Championship, Liv Morgan defending. She's trouble. She's trouble.
Don't you say it. Don't you sing it. God,
trouble.
Dang it.
That's her name.
No.
Defending against Io Sky.
Better.
Trouble.
Damn
That's
it.
her name.
Stop it.
So this has been kind of. I feel like the women's division has suffered from the fact that they just haven't. It's almost like.
Do you know that Liv has not defended this title since winning it?
Yeah, and before that, Jade didn't defend her title, and the thing is, it's almost like watching one of those. It's like watching a baseball game where both managers feel like they're Tony La Russa, and they're waiting for the right pitching batter combination, and they're just diddling around instead of just playing baseball. So you watch this thing where it's like, oh, they're pitching out, they're doing this, and it's boring as hell because nothing is happening. Or even like a football game where both teams are like, they're just trying not to lose as opposed not to win. Like they're just not getting the matchup they like, so they're just like, well, we'll just hang back here. We'll just wait until we get everything lined up the way, because again, like waiting for Stephanie Vaquer for her injuries and her visa and all that. And instead, like, you just create this massive amount of boredom, which I think part of the reason that we're used to this is because we had to deal with this with Roman Reigns for ages, where he would only defend the title but once a quarter, and you never saw him on TV. So it's kind of like, oh, well, I don't notice it as much because this is what the big belt has been all about. But yeah, it has been a shame. And the thing is, like, I will say, like, I don't think Liv is terrible. I do think that I'm actually much more interested in, how do you say her name? Gianna Dario, or whoever Liv Morgan's, whatever her name is, I can't remember Her real name is actually really cool. I'm almost like, that would be a much better name than Liv Morgan. I'm actually much more interested in Liv Morgan as a person than the character.
Gianna Dadio.
Okay. I actually think she's a fascinating story. And when she talks about wrestling, like, there is this different element to her. Her character to me is very stale right now. Like, it's very one-dimensional. And that's the thing that I'm frustrated about here as well, is it feels like they're kind of doing a disservice to someone who I don't think she's not the greatest in-ring performer. She doesn't have to be. Like, how many of the main eventers that we've seen over the past 10 years have been the greatest in-ring performers? They're not all great. She's good enough.
Yep.
It's just they haven't been doing right by this, and it kind of sucks. And speaking of not doing right, we have Io Sky, who got overshadowed by Rhea Ripley, and in spite of being so incredibly over, then became Rhea's sidekick to the point where they actually had to separate them, because otherwise I think they realized, like, oh, we're just going to bury Io under the tree of Rhea, you know? So I think they're trying to rebuild her, but it's like, it's two people who really should, in my opinion, be much bigger and solid stars than what they are. And what we're seeing here, even though they're competing for the championship, it almost feels like a comeback for both of them, which is very odd considering that one of them is the champion. I am really curious to hear who you think is going to win and who should win.
Io.
Okay.
Io Sky. That's who I want to win.
Any reasons, or is it just your vehement hatred of Liv Morgan's character?
I think the fact that I blame creative for part of it, but I also don't know if it's also like, I don't know if she's dealing with an injury still or what the deal is, but I think it is completely unacceptable to crown someone a champion and have them reign the way that she has over the last 3 months with no title defenses. And I know I say that with Jade Cargill having done the same, but I had that same issue going into WrestleMania. I think it's ridiculous. Like, why are you crowning someone a champion and not having them defend the belt?
Yes.
So I don't know if it's just they're overrun with injuries with the women and they had no one for Liv to face, but it feels like you could have done something. You know, you could have had her defend against Bayley. You could have had her defend against Lyra Valkyria before she went, full on, Bozo Loco. And I don't know what the deal is. It's very strange to me what they've done with her, and it makes zero sense. And I think with Io, there is potential there for some heel character to come along to. Maybe it's, Raquel Rodriguez. Maybe it is
finally,
Lyra Valkyria. I don't know. It is, Io can go and will defend the belt, and Liv can't for some reason. So I'm just going with, Io to take the belt and actually do something with it, as opposed to what's been going on with Liv. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, the creative team won't do anything with the title even after SummerSlam, and it'll just sit with Io. But I'm going to go with Io because I feel like I think she'll do something good with it. I think it'll, give Liv, something to pursue. Liv may end up getting back into a feud with, who knows if Stephanie Vaquer comes back. I think there could be, I'm going to do a side bet to say that Stephanie Vaquer does come back during this match and distracts Liv. I think she and Liv have great chemistry. So I'm going to say Stephanie Vaquer returns and distracts Liv. And we end up having a match between the two of them at some point, soon, down the line here, where, it goes back to, who is the better women's wrestler. Because, Liv, once she won the belt, decided to run around and claim she's the greatest women's, wrestler of all time, which I know is a shtick, but it's still annoying to see, someone who's clearly not deserving of that title run around and say it. So I'm going to go Io, and I'm going to give this 3 3/4 stars. I think it's going to be a good match, but I think it is going to be Io's crowning as women's world champion. What say you, sir?
So here's the thing. I will agree with you actually on both counts. I think you're dead on perfect what I think the star rating is going to be. It's going to be a good match.
Yeah.
because Io is just that good, and Liv, for maybe not being the most technically proficient wrestler, she can keep up with anybody. I will say that I think that is actually her greatest asset, is that as I've heard, I think a Stone Cold had said it, or someone had said it about Stone Cold, like a really, really high running motor.
Yeah.
Like she can keep up with anybody. I would love, and here's where I feel like in some cases, and again, like we don't know all the background, we don't know the plans, we don't know all that, which, we both know that you kind of need all that information to really understand what's going on. This is another instance where I feel like we can write a much better story than even like what you're saying. Oh, Stephanie's going to come down and interfere. How about this? How about it's just one-on-one, Io defeats Liv. Boom, we don't need interference. Io just takes out Liv. And Liv can't stand this idea because she has this idea that I am the greatest and this and that. The story comes after. Well, Raquel Rodriguez has been kind of orbiting around that, so she's wants to be number one contender. Well, Liv wants a return match. Now we get those two competing against each other to go against Io. And this is where you finally do the Raquel Rodriguez face turn, going against Liv and smacking the hell out of me. Like, you remember that time you tossed me over the top rope in the Rumble? Yeah, karma sucks. And then that's when you bring Stephanie back to go against Liv, and you spin Raquel off into a feud with Io. Except you can make it a face thing.
Mm-hmm.
You can, like, okay, who's really the best now? All right, we ditched Blondie. Now it's just me and you.
Mm-hmm.
Probably won't happen. It'll probably happen more along the lines of what you're saying. But I really want that to happen because I feel like you should elevate some of these people, and then Liv and friggin' Stephanie don't necessarily need the belt for a while. They can just have a blood feud, complete like Drew McIntyre and CM Punk, a blood feud that doesn't need the belt involved. It can just be like, I hate your ass. I hate your ass too. All right, well, let's go fight. And that can be all it is. That could be really cool.
Amen.
Who knows if it'll actually happen?
What's your star rating?
3.75. I think you're bang on with it.
All right.
And this brings us to the rematch, the trifecta of, all time that we've heard about and blah, 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 blah. All that aside, this is going to be Hell in a Cell. Could be a hell of a match. Brock Lesnar versus Obafemi.
The ruler.
Damn. I wonder how far you can take this and how long you can go in this. We know that Oba is a young guy. Brock, older guy, in fantastic friggin' shape. But how much... It's one thing to look a certain way, like how long can you go in the ring? We'll see. He tends to change like skin shade as the match goes along. You get redder and redder and redder until it's like, is he going to pop like a freaking engorged tick? I don't know, but it's on the table. And also, like, how far do you go in this? Because to me, if you really want this to be Oba is going to slay the beast, Brock needs to bleed. This needs to be the Ivan Drago. The big Russian is bleeding.
Yep.
And Creed in the corner, what's his, was it Duke in the corner? He's human. He's a man. That sort of moment. Like Brock has got to have some color in this. And that would have to be the thing. It has to be brutal. And it has to be a point where it is undeniable that Oba beat him without a shadow of a doubt. Even though maybe it takes a long time, it's got to be that. Is Brock willing to do that? I would hope so, considering, from what Heyman says, how smart he is about the business and yada, yada, yada. And also knowing, like, if this is his final match, if he really does want to retire in Minnesota, that even if he doesn't win, like, he will forever be mentioned in this match if they make it a classic of brutality, much like Mankind losing Hell in a Cell, like we still talk about Mick Foley. Do you think that Brock would go for that? Do you think that WWE will go that far?
Yeah, I mean, I think Brock, from what I've read and clearly from what you see, that Brock has a feel for the business. And I think if the intent here is to, solidify Oba as the future, I think, yeah, Brock's got to bleed. It's got to be a vicious match. And, I honestly, I wouldn't mind if this match is a quick one, because Oba's, singularly focused on, slaying the beast. And so this ends up being a bit of a little bit of a squash match. Now, I don't want it to be that fully. I mean, I think like what they did at WrestleMania was appropriate. You have Oba with most of the offense. Brock gets a little bit in, but Oba goes over. I think maybe this Hell in a Cell is similar in that, you don't want this going 20 minutes. You want this going probably, 10 to 12 at the most. And you want it to be definitive for Oba defeating Brock. And so I think, I think the way you laid it out, I think makes sense. And I feel like, this has to be Oba going over. I mean, Brock, he retired at WrestleMania supposedly, and this is so, again, his hometown from when he was younger.
Yeah.
I mean, he lives in Canada now, so it's not really his hometown. But
well, I mean, kind of your hometown is, there's still a tie there.
It's loose. It's loose.
But didn't he went to college in Minnesota as well?
I think so, yeah.
And then he also, when he went back to try out for the NFL, I believe it was with the Vikings. So, I mean, there is a lot of history.
There is.
So, I mean, I would contend it's a little
but
closer,
I think this is Oba closing this book on Brock's career and, moving forward, and challenging for the world heavyweight championship at that point. So I'm going to go with Oba on this one. I think this will be a good match. I think both of them do a great job of, slapping meat and making it a hoss match and a good hoss match at that. So I'm going to go 375 on this one. And I already penciled in Oba for your winner. Is that correct? Or are you going to go with Brock winning?
Yes, but I will pick one nit with you. I don't think it needs to be a quick match, and I think it would be a detraction if it would be similar to Oba's match at WrestleMania.
Okay.
I think this needs to be an even match 3/4 of the way through. I think what needs to be definitive is the ending.
Okay.
I think that in a way it should be more give and take, because the first match was all Oba, mostly. Second match was mostly all Brock. Like, this really ought to be evenly matched. Like, there should be this like back and forth. Like, they've now both figured it out. It's like, okay, I've got the tape on you. You've got the tape on me. We now know this. It would be great to see them both countering out of like an F5, out of a fall from grace, like actually showing that they've learned from each other, and not falling for the same tricks. And it would actually, I think, in a way, be better if it goes a little bit longer, and that becomes the thing, that it's Oba's the younger man, and Brock is realizing like, oh, it is the end of the line. I just can't keep up. Like, it's not a matter of I'm not a bad MFer, but it's the same sort. Like, there's a we were talking about King of Queens earlier, and there's one episode where Kevin James, Doug, he's getting into this confrontation with his waitress, and it's funny because his waitress is probably like 5'2", but she is like has like the dead eyes, and she's like, she ends up getting fired or whatever, or sent home, and she's like, I'll meet you out in the parking lot. And so for the rest of the show, like, she's like pacing outside the windows of this diner, and his friend is like, it's like, you think you can take her? He's like, I can go about all out for about 1 minute, and then I got to finish the fight from a chair. Like, there's this thing where I think the realization should be not that Oba is, that Brock isn't tough anymore, that he's not the beast. It's that Father Time is undefeated.
Yes.
And I think that's what the story at the end of this match should be, is that it's not so much that Brock can't still dismantle most anybody that he wants to if he can get the jump on him. It's that he can't hang as long. He just can't do it. And that Oba is the younger man, and he is the new lion, because that is ultimately what it comes down to. Like, strength can be kind of negligible. It's that endurance. So I wouldn't mind seeing this match go 15, close to 20 minutes, because I think you need time to tell that story. And especially in the cell, to kind of get that feel of that brutality, I a little longer, I think, would actually benefit it. But you are correct. Yes, I'm going with Oba. I don't necessarily that jump to 4 stars, because it's tough to give a Haas match 4 stars. I don't want to match you though either, because I feel like that's kind of cheating. But I do feel like you actually have the right rating here.
I do.
Screw it, I'm going 4 stars. Just that smug look on your face.
Pushed him over the edge. You son of a bitch.
You probably rope-a-dope me on that one, but I don't care. It was smooth if you did it. So whatever.
I am a smooth operator.
Oh God. Every time I hear that now,
operator.
All I think of is lady shavers. Because remember, that was the thing, like the Lady Remington forever.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Sade made that was Sade, right? Smooth operator. Yes. Probably made more money off of Sade.
No
Sorry. Probably made more money off of the licensing deal through Remington than she did off of actual album sales.
Hey, you know what? Whoever pays, right? Whoever pays.
Don't hate the play. I hate the game. All right, next up, let's go with the undisputed, if it's undisputed, what's all the fighting for? WWE Championship. Charles Montgomery Punk versus Codith Raheem Rhodes.
Got to bring back the Raheem moniker. I like that.
Oh my gosh, there was a moment when Oba Femi called out the Raheem thing.
Yes.
They asked him, like, who was his favorite black wrestlers, and I'm like, oh my, come on. Dude, you just got here about 5 minutes ago. You're not allowed to jump in on that joke yet, are you?
Maybe.
Anyways, this has been very interesting, going from friends to frenemies to then, if we go back like what, a year, 2 years ago, when we had the whole, in some ways I'm more CM Punk than CM Punk. That promo was great, and then it kind of just went away. And then we got CM Punk showing up, and the championship falling out of the sky promo. And here we are, and now they kind of were friends, and now frenemies, and now we're full blown like little brother. And wow, it escalated quickly, as Ron Burgundy would say.
It did.
Who are you? Well, wait a minute. You went first last time, so let me go first on this one. I'm split on this, because I feel like somebody's got to turn heel in this. Like somebody has to, no doubt, 100% turn heel. And we can't get a tweener halfway between, like, oh no, I'm the cool heel. Like, no, there has to be a gasp moment, I feel like, here. And if that's going to happen, I feel like it has to be Cody. Cody would generate the biggest gasp of the two of them going so far into because he's already dabbled in the heel. He's dabbled in the dark arts, but we need to go full on frack and Slytherin here. And I kind of feel like in doing that, he has to win the championship, right? Like if you're gonna turn Cody heel, or I mean, I guess there's also a way that he could lose and then turn heel on, on the following SmackDown or even Raw, however you want to do it. But I almost feel like, and this is where my head canon and what I'd like to see, I want to see it happen in the ring. I want to see it happen within the story of the match. And in many cases, I feel like WWE shies away from that. However, with these two cats and the fact that it seems like Punk has, a little bit of stroke going back to, Double J, I almost feel like they could talk Hunter and the rest of creative into, no, we can do this in the match. It'll be cool. I'm going to go with Cody Rhodes.
Okay.
And then give me a side bet if Cody turns heel.
What's the star rating?
That's a tough one. Damn, I'm looking at my star ratings, and some of them are like, I started getting really optimistic the last couple matches here. Oh, wow. So much for my angry guy shtick I had going there for a while. Because I kind of want to give this one 4 stars because I think there's potential. Yeah, give me 4 stars. What the hell? I'll live to regret it, but whatever. What do you think, sir? Oh, and did you do the side bet, or should I throw that?
I did.
Okay.
I got it in there.
Thank you, sir.
Cody turns heel. No, so I'm going with CM Punk winning because I am going with the latter sense of things, where I think the heel turn happens after, when Cody cannot upend CM Punk.
Mm-hmm.
That I think there's continued angst between them going into the end of August into September and October. And I think this is going to be a long simmering feud between the two of them, where I think Cody will enlist the services of the wise man to help him get back on top. So I'm going to go CM Punk on this one. I think it's going to be a closely contested match where Punk gets one over on Cody, and Cody is now left kind of questioning himself. We heard, I did at least see this on YouTube from Friday's show of, how he has to, his story has to end this way. And I think it's very fitting at this stage for Cody to not have his story end exactly the way he thinks it should end. Like we had the storybook ending of him winning a world championship in a way that his father could not. And he had that. And now they're kind of building up a similar thing where, I have to beat Punk. This has to be the end of this story.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's something very different if Cody can't do it, because now he has to ask himself, am I as good enough as I think I am, in order to do this? And so I'm actually going to give this 4.5 stars. I think this is going to be a phenomenal match between the two, but I think Charles Montgomery Punk is going to go over, and it's going to lead to a much more a much longer term story between the two characters, with Punk holding on to the championship.
I think that you are probably much more on the pulse of the WWE creative team. However, I would say,
wish they
would
pay me as such, but
that would be nice. I also feel like with what you're saying, where he has to, could lead to like the heel turn happening within the match, like that he is willing to go to that dark place, and that having it unfold in the span of the match, to me, is much more interesting. And to have it happen within the heat of the moment, I think, is more interesting. But that's just me personally. I think that WWE tends to write it a little bit more closer to what you're saying. I will say, I think that could also lead to a much more interesting kind of incorporation of Mr. Heyman down the line, because if things go as we say and Brock is gone, that kind of takes Heyman away from TV for a while, which I think is a good thing, because I think Paul has been devalued just by the way the vision fell apart. And even though they're kind of building back up now, like he said it very aptly, like, oh, you got Maxine Dupree, it's almost like you don't need me. Like, no, you kind of don't, because they're now essentially they've been knocked down to a mid-card faction.
Yep.
And maybe they'll build up and maybe they'll go somewhere, but you don't need Paul Heyman for them anymore. Get Paul off TV for a while. If Cody wins, like, that can be a thing for a little bit, and then it could be like Punk starts getting the better of him, and oh my gosh, you get back into that. I have to have the belt. I have to. He becomes Gollum, like, my precious. Well, who are you going to go to? Out of the shadows comes Mr. Heyman after not seeing him for a few months. Now he has a bigger impact. Whereas I think if Cody doesn't win and he has to have this heel turn happen, he's going to go to, it would lead much more quickly to getting Heyman. And I think that you lose impact by just the fact that we just see Heyman on on TV not that long ago with Lesnar.
Mm-hmm.
Just my opinion. We'll see, kind of how it all works. Do you think there's any way that Punk is the heel in this, like that he turns heel?
I mean, I thought I thought that was going to happen at WrestleMania, and it didn't. I don't know if they're just going to go like just full on babyface with him for the rest of his run, because he's just he's kind of just adhering to the fact that that he's this homegrown sort of talent that kind of came up through the indies, and is having this run as a late 40s kind of superstar, middle-aged and crazy. I think having him be kind of the truth, or be kind of the unwavering hero that speaks the truth, I think is something that's lacking right now. And I don't know that, I mean, he could play an amazing heel, but to what end? We've seen him and Heyman before, so if they try to do something with him and Heyman, we've been there before.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the thing I can see is if he tries to put together another super group like what Rollins was trying, what Rollins was doing with the Vision. But again, it's one of those things that, is that the best use of him, or is the best use of him to be the hero? And now you have the guy who's been QB1, who's been the constant babyface. I mean, Cody just needs to do something different. Like the whole idea of him regaining the belt and continuing to defend it is just not exciting at this stage, because he's been doing it for the last 2 to 3 years, So that's why I think it's less of a likelihood that Punk turns heel. I think this is more of him, going in and defending the championship and, overcoming, and then having to deal with a Cody Rhodes who doesn't want to accept the truth that he, on this given night, he wasn't good enough. And so now he's got to find shortcuts to, close his story the way that he needs to. Which, over time would then build toward, a babyface turn, which I think the fans would want to see. But I think right now, I think having Cody, go heel for the wrong, for I don't mean to say the wrong reasons, but
it's always the wrong reasons,
right?
That's what makes it fun.
Exactly. So that's my thought. Is I just think at this stage, I think Punk is probably going to ride out the rest of his run as a babyface, and that's just going to be where he is. And along the way, he can be a babyface foil for a number of heels that want to try to overcome the best in the world.
Well, the great thing about Punk's character is he can still be heelish. Like he's literally like Austin. He is that tweener. Yes. He's just badass enough to be cool.
Yep.
So even if he's acting like a heel, people still will like him. And it's funny, like I watched I rewatched his entrance to WrestleMania, and the whole was it Miseria, whatever, but the old ROH song that he was using, or and then they led into the Cult of Personality. In between there, like like the crowd was starting to, it was like kind of split, like there was some hostility there with this OTC chants,
right?
But he just kind of fed off of it. Like it just bounces off of him. Like right now he is that kind of larger than life character that is essentially Teflon. Like even if you throw stuff at him, it's not really going to stick.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I agree. I think Cody is the one to turn heel here. Like it makes the most sense, and it gives you the most mileage. He's got a lot more. I mean, not a lot more miles, but he's got more miles ahead of him than Punk does, So, yeah. So I think we're just disagreeing on where the turn happens.
Yes.
Would that be correct?
All yes.
Right. Any interference or anything, any shenanigans here, you think?
Nope. I think it's going to be a straight up match between the two of them.
All right.
And in the Triple H era, that seems to be the way they're operating for now. I think the match where you're going to see interference, and I'll have a side bet on this one, is the next match, which is the Roman Reigns Seth Rollins one, because I think this is going to be the match where, so even though I picked LA Solo and Royce to win, I think Solo is going to turn on Rollins, and I think he's going to join Roman Now the alternative is Rollins goes over for some reason, but
well, can I just one thing? I think I want to note this down before, just for the record, for posterity or posterior, really is closer to us. I think because they really haven't announced like card per night, right?
Right.
If Roman and Seth is the main event for Saturday night, Cody definitely going over Sunday night.
Okay.
If Punk and Cody are the main event Saturday night, then I think Punk is going over.
Okay.
I think that's just my contention.
Okay.
I just wanted to state that for the court record.
All right.
So now, yes, the World Heavyweight Championship, Roman Reigns defending against Seth Rollins. Please continue with your eloquent dissertation on how you think Solo is going to turn to the dark side and where that's going to take us.
I think there's going to be potential for interference from the bloodline, and then Solo will come down to potentially defend Seth, and he ends up double crossing him, and Roman retains. Now, that of course works against Roman because now Roman can't claim that he's exercised himself of Seth completely. I mean, yes, he'll have the victory over him, but the way you get the victory matters. Mm-hmm. And Seth will have that as an argument, against him. But I have a feeling we're going to go this way, all in service of heading toward a War Games Survivor Series where it will be 5 members of the bloodline versus some coalition of the willing to fight against them, and maybe that's led up by Punk, maybe it's led up by Seth, going against Roman, but yes, I think we're going to have Roman Reigns retain due to shenanigans, and I'm going to have this as 4 1/4 stars.
You are smoking the hopium big time.
I am not. Seth Rollins is a part of this. He can carry the match, and Roman comes along
against
for the
any
ride.
normal opponent, and except for the black hole, that the singularity of just shitty matches that is Roman Reigns, of just boredom, absolute boredom, plotting boredom on crutches, ladies and gentlemen.
That's how I see it. It's the way it's going to fall. That's how it is. What can I say?
I do like the idea of Solo turning. I don't know. Like I try to figure out how does that.
Now, can I say this though?
Yes.
I actually don't want Solo to turn because I think Solo could make an amazing babyface, but I have a feeling they're probably going to work toward a bloodline versus some entity at War Games, and it would make logical sense for Solo to fall in line and be the 5th member.
Yeah.
And so that's my only reasoning is more I'm thinking ahead to Survivor Series, but if there wasn't a War Games coming up, I don't know that I'd be as heavily invested in Solo turning because he seems to be on an interesting track being this sort of goofy, babyface character that he's been. And I'd love to see him play into that more. And it's something different for him.
Mm-hmm.
But I can also see this being a moment for him to, especially where if he had not interjected himself into Seth's business and said, I'll watch your back the way you watch Cody's, it feels like they're setting up a turn because the likelihood of Solo sticking with that and being his shield is probably low, and now Seth has exposed himself. And one thing I read on, I think it was on Cage Side Seats, that I do think makes some sense is it could show Roman's superiority over Seth because Seth has always been the architect. He's always been the one who's been 3 steps ahead of his opponents. And this will be a situation where Roman was 3 steps ahead of him. And he basically put his family member in a position that it seemed like he was at odds with him, promised to be in Seth's corner and help him out, and then ultimately was the tool that ended up upending Seth and causing him to lose. Like Seth's like taking Seth's trust in him and turning it against him is very similar to what Seth has done to Roman in the past. And so I can see that as part of the story here, that Roman is showing that he is now the master manipulator, not Seth.
I just hate any friggin' version of this that results in Roman keeping the title.
Then pick
I
Seth.
just do.
Pick
Well,
Seth.
no, because the thing is, like, we're also dealing with reality. And the reality is Roman Reigns has pictures of Triple H in a compromising position with a sheep somewhere along the line. That's all I can think of.
I love how it has to be a sheep.
No, it was either that or a goat. So just for giggles here, let's just look at this for a moment, because I agree with you. I'm thinking ahead to War Games. So we're late July, beginning of August when this happens.
Mm-hmm.
War Games is, I believe, this year it is Thanksgiving weekend. So we're dealing with late November, August, all of September, all of October, most of November. Is there another War Games match to be cobbled together that does not involve Bloodline versus anti-Bloodline? Because that is the thing that because I mean, we know there is going to be a War Games match, correct?
So I'll ask a question against your question.
Oh.
What other faction is there to participate in War Games?
That's the thing. Like, I almost wonder if
that is the thing. There is no other faction. It has to be the Bloodline, and then you build up a team that goes against them. There is no other faction that you can build a compelling main event. I know. You don't want to hear it. As Ric Flair would say, like it or don't like it, learn to love it, because it's the best thing going today. Woo!
Well, in a way, actually.
Because otherwise, who else is it?
It's total fantasy booking on my part, because we've talked about Sammy, and Gunther, Punk, Cody. And like, if you can just keep those guys orbiting around each other, like that can result in some really good off and on sort of things. Is there a coalition to be cobbled together there? Because another thing I just thought of, again, Sammy was backstage with the planking Johnny Gargano and I can't remember her name ever. His wife, his girlfriend, whatever.
Candice LeRae. Apparently,
he was watching the number one contenders match. Would this be a moment when Johnny Gargano, all of a sudden, like, he's healed, he's alive, and he runs in and interferes in the match, and that's how Sammy gets over. And now all of a sudden, Johnny Wrestling is kind of Sammy's lackey, and now we start getting this whole thing of maybe Cody then says, like, hey, yeah, you guys hang with me. And I don't know. I just don't love the fact that we're heading towards another friggin' Bloodline versus the anti-Bloodline. Like, there's got to be something else. I'm not finding anything. I was hoping you'd have something. Damn it.
I just see the chess pieces on the board, and that's what we have to play with, my friend. Now, you're right. It's entirely possible they can come up with another 5-on-5 combination, but they got 3 months to figure that out, and I just don't see it. So
yeah, and then you would have to also like take the Bloodline out,
right,
in some way, shape, or form. I hate it, because the fact is, like, I don't know that the money is in giving Seth a win here. Because and also the whole thing of like, Roman has never beat Seth Rollins. Like, oh my gosh, could we just telegraph this even more? Which makes you, then of course, contrarian to me thinking, well, are they saying that because they're going to do the opposite? Like, which usually ends up me, with us and other pundits and, folks overthinking it. And it's like, no, it's pretty much exactly what we were telling you. Shit. I'm going to go with Roman Reigns. And actually, I want you to write it in that way. Shit, Roman Reigns. Thank you. That just, it affects nothing, but it makes me feel better.
I figured as much.
Let's go with 3.5 stars. Because
you can't bring yourself to a 4-star rating.
No, because I think that if there's going to be outside interference combined with just Roman's plodding pace and the same friggin' match that we've seen dozens of times already, and the same shtick and the same thing, it's going to be unsatisfactory.
Okay.
It's not going to satiate any kind of desire for anything. And if this is how the show goes off the air Sunday night, ladies and gentlemen, we riot. Separately in our living rooms, just turn over your coffee table.
And when Uncle Todd says we, he means Marco, Happy, and himself.
No, it's
will
mostly
march around the house and just indiscriminately throw things around, which Uncle Todd ultimately will have to pick up. So
no, it's mostly just me. The cats will be scared out of their minds because they've been sleeping. Because they don't get up until about midnight, 1 a.m., and then all of a sudden it's a freaking feline jamboree in my house.
A feline jamboree?
2, 3 in the morning in my house. All you hear is the bell.
All I can picture is
little
Happy
bell
and
ball.
Marco playing, one of them playing a banjo, the other one going, hoo, hoo, hoo,
They
on the
might
jug.
as well be. Honestly, the problem is for them, that would be too quiet. That would be too quiet. They'd be like, how can we make some more noise?
Oh, that's too funny. Feline jamboree.
bastards.
I love it.
Going nuts.
Oh, all right, sir. Make sure you read over the side bets section to make sure I didn't miss anything for your side bets. But mine are the bell is turned on Page. El Grande Americano interferes and helps Danhausen win. When it comes to the 6-man tag, we're going to do an over-under on super kicks at 10, taking the over. Stephanie Vicaire, for me at least, Stephanie Vicaire returns and distracts Liv. And then Solo turns on Seth Rollins and helps Roman retain the title. Is there anything in there that you're missing? You have Bella's turn on Page. You have the same El Grande Americano side bet. You have a side bet. I don't have this one. Carmelo interference leads to Baron Corbin winning. On the 6-man tag, you also have the over-under on super kicks at 10. I will be counting them. We're going to take the over, both of us on that one. Then you have the Cody heel turn. Anything else we're missing?
There's a part of me that kind of wonders if Raquel, if we get a little Judgment Day interference in the EO Live match, and that starts sowing the seed for but I'm not sold on it because again, I've already got. No, I'm going to stick with it because again, like it would be very uncharacteristic to have that much more interference. That is.
So you don't want to add the side bet, or you do want to add the side
No,
bet?
I don't.
Okay.
Because Triple H and Co. have been very judicious in their use of interference, which I do like.
Yes.
I do like that.
All right. Well, we have our SummerSlam picks locked in, ladies and gentlemen. The chessboard is locked into place.
Well,
there are no pieces moving. Well, if you so want to, for the interim women's WWE Women's Championship ladder match, so be it. But otherwise, everything else is locked in at this point.
Who do you feel if they dropped in like a surprise? Who would be enough to make you change?
No one.
What if Stephanie
Chelsea
Vicaire,
is my pick. Chelsea.
What if Stephanie Vicaire showed up? I mean, would that just automatically be like, well, of course she's going to win?
It wouldn't make any sense.
No, it wouldn't. But I'm just saying, if like who would be the person?
I think I would still go with Chelsea because it's an interim belt. It's meant to be. Well,
yeah.
Stephanie would be interesting going against Rhea. I'm sticking with Chelsea though.
I'm inclined.
Yes,
to
we can revisit and amend based on what happens this week, but for the most part. When is this match supposed to take place? Is it taking place on Raw or SmackDown?
I don't know. I would assume Raw because I don't think you would. I think they had 2 qualification matches on SmackDown.
Okay.
So I think that Raw has 1 left in the bag.
All
that right. and just makes sense to have that locked in Monday, so that then like Friday just becomes now we're fine tuning everything and now we're and all that crap.
Gotcha.
because I think on Monday night we're getting like I don't like the contract signing stuff anymore. Like it's just
why?
Because it's taking away from like, ooh, we could actually have storylines happening within a match. But no, we're not going to do that. Nope. Let's have them talk at each other. Ooh. 9 times out of 10, it's like exactly as predicted or lame. Yeah. Anyways, again, here's Old Bastard Todd coming out. Thank you. That's.
Sorry, I'm trying to play with the formatting of the table here.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, let's move on to and another thing, our recommendations for our listeners and viewers. What do you have for this Free Range Idiocy Friday?
My and another thing is WWE Unreal Season 3 with a tagline for me of, is WWE Unreal becoming unreal? Because watching this season, there's a whole lot of stuff they just kind of sweep under the rug and don't even really talk about. One of them is the John Cena, the retirement tour and the things that didn't go well. They at least spoke enough to the idea that his whole idea of, ruining professional wrestling was actually hurting the company and they need to stop. So I'm glad they acknowledged
he was
that.
legit good enough that he was ruining wrestling, and they're like, well, we just meant in a storyline sort of
It's
way.
getting a little too real, so we need to have you go back to bringing your best. And so there was that. There was a lack of any sort of acknowledgement that there was fan pushback on the whole Pat McAfee bit with the WrestleMania main event with Cody and Randy.
Oh yeah, and even the fact that like just Rock disappeared and Travis Scott disappeared.
Yes, yeah,
which I think they might have mentioned that a little bit at the end of season 2, but here it's like we definitely do just forget that ever happened.
Yeah, yep. They did acknowledge the fact that the Vision seems to be a little snake bitten with all the injuries, but that was just acknowledging reality. I'm trying to think. I thought there was one other thing that they didn't really talk about. Brock's retirement, like that wasn't even touched on, like what he did at the end of the Oba Brock match in WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
So I say all that because it just, to me, if you're going to give a backstage view into things that have happened,
mm-hmm.
I understand that you don't, you certainly don't want to show stuff that paints the company in a bad light or anything like that. But I don't think any of those items would paint them in a bad light. It's more, do they want to put a focus on shine a light on something that has happened versus, well, we don't want to talk about this,
Yeah.
and when it comes to the whole Pat McAfee thing, I mean, the way that they kind of brought it in is like, oh, we're going to inject Pat in here. And it like didn't even get into like how ridiculous the storyline was
mm-hmm.
and nonsensical it was or anything like that. And I guess they wouldn't say that because that would be calling the baby ugly, which they're not going to do.
Mm-hmm.
But they just kind of played it along like it was all part of the plan and it was
mm-hmm.
great and it went so well. And I was really surprised too by how much they showed in like Gorilla, especially at the end of that match. It's like Randy and Cody are hugging and like that's the part that I find so weird because at least with like Punk, you don't see him. And I would imagine this is the case because, like AJ Lee has let slip a couple things about Becky where she, she'll say something like, oh, I love Becky. She's a sweetheart. And so, like I said, I think AJ and Punk are on good terms with Becky and Seth,
mm-hmm.
but they don't show that stuff because it, clearly they have their own kayfabe they're trying to maintain with this. You don't see Roman and Punk shaking hands afterwards or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just kind of, I just feel like, are they now undermining the very point of this entire show? And again, we've talked about this. They're trying to create this like meta kayfabe sort of thing
mm-hmm.
where they're showing things that are happening backstage, but not showing everything. And it's just, I don't know. It was just kind of weird. I like the season, don't get me wrong, but there was just, there was enough that, we've covered, that we've talked about, that we've seen and we've read about ourselves where I would have been interested to get a perspective from them on, and
mm-hmm.
they just completely don't, either don't acknowledge it or they so like, icing on the cake sort of like just gloss over it where you're just like, wait a minute, this was way more involved than you're even letting on. So to me, it kind of, it kind of challenges the premise of what the show is supposed to be about,
mm-hmm.
I guess. But having said that, I would still recommend seeing it because it does provide an interesting insight into the business and into certain characters.
Mm-hmm.
And funniest one, of course, involving Chelsea Green and her husband, Matt Cardona, where they are debating whether they should have a single hotel room or stay in separate hotel rooms because poor Matt decides to douse himself in tanner.
It's not poor Matt. It's not. If anything, this is poor Chelsea, and I'm speaking from the person from this.
Well, I just meant poor Matt trying to maintain a tan of some kind by using chemicals on his skin.
I'm sorry, I'm totally team Kevin Owens on this one. Like, you don't need to become a tanner, whatever. Like, I forget what actually Chelsea Green had a term for it.
Yeah,
where it's like you're not that shade.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't need to do that.
Yeah.
You don't need to have 18 layers of tan. Like, there's no point. Like, you're ruining hotel sheets coast to coast. Like, just stop. It's not necessary. No, that is great. The thing is, so there was a great, I think it was in Rolling Stone originally, but where I came into contact with it is in the book. It's called The Great Shark Hunt, and it's Hunter S. Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about Hunter S. Thompson is we can get very caught up in the fact that, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas and his incredible, astounding drug and alcohol consumption. However, there were a lot of really smart journalists, a lot of really good writers who basically said, like, yeah, he's crazy, but you're not going to find a better reporter. Like, he's insightful. He is smart. He's loony, but he actually knows his stuff. There's a story in there where he is talking about meeting and interviewing Muhammad Ali. And this is Muhammad Ali back in the 70s. And I want to say this is Muhammad Ali, like, after he had been reinstated to fight after not being able to fight because of not wanting to fight in the Vietnam War. And the way that Hunter describes Ali and the way that, basically one of the ways he says it, like, he said, it's not enough for Ali to be king on his own turf. Ali wanted to be king on his own turf and crown prince on everyone else's. So, like, he wants to be the number one contender on everyone else's turf too. Like, he's ready to take over your stuff as soon as possible, which he said is a very heady goal. But there's this way that he describes Muhammad Ali and how he can make people feel like they're getting the inside story. Like, oh, I'm telling you some stuff. And he's like, it's like a series of moats. And he's like, at most, they're getting to like level 7. He's like, no one ever gets past, he's like, I was hoping to maybe get to 5. He's like, I don't think anybody ever gets past 4. Like, even the people, like, even his wife. Like, there's layers of Muhammad Ali that no one will ever see. And I feel like that's where WWE kayfabe right now is, where we are watching a scripted reality show about a scripted sports show. And in a way, like the Cena thing, I think it's WWE's way of rewriting history and putting down their authoritative version of it. That even though people have seen it, even though the YouTube videos are out there, they're like, this is our version of it. See, look, it's well edited. It's well told. It's well crafted. Like, look at this story. It's amazing. And as I'm watching it, I'm like, wait a minute. I remember this kind of sucked. So I think that they're using it in that way, but they're also using it in a way to build characters and kayfabe their, like, in a different way. Like, it is rather amazing what they're doing. And if you're thinking like you're going to get some sort of insights that, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're telling me that, like, that's not going to happen. They're not going to do that. Like, they have total control over this. So I that's why I like, for me, I'm watching more for like the character of the people behind it. And that's why for me, like, I've only watched like the first 4 episodes. I think Liv Morgan comes off really great because, like, actually seeing her out of character, like, the aspects that get turned up to 10, and then also seeing like just kind of the dorkiness in a way of who she is.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, okay, that's a person I actually can kind of root for. Like, I can root for the person. The character can be annoying as all hell, you know, or even like Braun Breaker. Like, hearing him talk, you're like, oh my gosh, like, you know, the kind of the humility aspect of it and the quietness of him as compared to like, you know, the frothing at the mouth character. It's like, oh, okay, this is a dude like, yeah, I'm rooting for this guy. Like, he actually seems like he understands, you know, when he's talking about like he has a lot more to learn and a lot further to go and all that. That's where I think there's something to take away. That's where I feel like there's a way to gain insight into the people. I don't think you're really going to get ever a full view. Like, I think even in those writing meetings, like there's definitely moments where they're like, okay, well, now let's do a take where we're talking about this sort of thing, you know, where it's very, very carefully curated. You know what I mean? Because if nothing else, like they're shooting everything and then they have ultimate control over what they throw in the vault that no one's ever going to see.
Yeah.
You know, so it's interesting, I think, but you also have to have a very large grain of salt with it.
Mm-hmm.
But it is fun to watch. I will admit, I love watching it just because I'm that sort of dork.
I am fascinated by it as well. And for the record, it is on Netflix. So if you've not seen it, check out the other seasons, seasons 1 and 2, and then definitely season 3.
Yes. I'm going to suggest you go and watch a fairly short video by Eric Darby performing his spoken word poem, Scratch and Dent Dreams. Eric Darby is kind of a cool cat in that he kind of, this was one of like, you know, his big hit. He won some slam poetry competitions, and then after a while he just kind of stopped doing spoken word. And now I think he does a lot of like building and kind of engineering sort of projects and stuff like that. And that's kind of what he does. And, but this is a powerful piece. And it's one of those things where it's like, if you can catch lightning in it makes you appreciate one-hit wonders in a way. I'm not trying to say like, oh, he never wrote anything else that was good. I'm just saying like, when people dismiss one-hit wonders, it's like, well, what have you ever done that's going to be talked about a decade later? Nothing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, God bless being a one-hit wonder. You had one thing that resonated with people enough to become a hit, to become one in the zeitgeist, and to kind of translate across culture. And this poem really just kind of struck a nerve with people then. And it's really old now. I can't remember exactly when this video was taken, but it still kind of strikes a nerve. And it is a poem of hope. And I think that we can all use a little bit more of that in our lives right now. At any point, hope is always a good thing to kind of store away for a rainy day. So definitely check out Scratch and Dent Dreams by Eric Darby. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our show for this Free Range Idiocy Friday. Thank you all for tuning in so much. Be sure to subscribe and get all of our episodes. You can get Week and Geek Wednesday as well as Free Range Idiocy Friday by subscribing on Podbean, Amazon, Spotify, Pandora, Apple Podcasts, any podcast purveyor out there. Go ahead and search for Free Range EDC. We will be there. You can also find full video episodes on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@freerangeedc. Subscribe and follow. You know, there's a bell. I don't know. Whatever the kids say, mash the subscribe button. And I don't think you need to mash it. Maybe caress it. You know? Just, yeah. Actually, one thing I wanted to mention before, you're so fond of saying pulling back the kimono. Essentially, WWE is with Unreal is pulling back the kimono, except there's a kimono underneath the kimono.
Fair enough.
Which feels like a cheat, except if it's a nice kimono. And if you have any thoughts, concerns, or you know, requests that you'd like to send to us, send those to tim@freerangeidiocy.com. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to turn this show over to the least idiotic member of the idiots who run this show. And but not before I ask him the second most important question in all of human history. The first being, what is hip? The second being, what the frack did we learn this episode, besides the fact I can't shut my mouth?
We've learned that the two idiots here have thoughts on the upcoming PLE, and we will see of those thoughts who is the most right and the most wrong. I, of course, think it is me. He, of course, thinks it is he. But we are...
No, it's probably you, honestly.
Well, you know, I have followed wrestling for quite some time. I have developed an affinity and a knowledge of how this business tends to play out. We will see.
He is far too humble, folks. He is a wrestling bloodhound. Every time that story comes up...
Well, that's the other thing we've learned is the man they called him is a popcorn bloodhound if he is nothing else. And then on top of that...
so funny, like... someone's popping. I was like someone's got popcorn. Is the revolution coming, Tim? Are they at your door?
We've also learned the man they called him needs to stock his office with some flossers. So in the event he has a corn on the cob, he's not constantly sitting going,
You look like a dog that just had a glob of peanut butter.
Yes, indeed.
It was not pretty. I'm just saying.
We've also learned that the man they called Tim and Uncle Todd are bullish on Chelsea Green getting a run with the interim Ladies Championship, and we are hoping that is what happens. We will also see if who is the most right when it comes to the Battle of the Europeans, Nick Aldis or Gunther. We both have made our case, and we will see what happens. But for the most part, the man they called Tim and Uncle Todd kind of on the same wavelength when it comes to most of these matches. Although I think Uncle Todd is is jonesing a little bit more for a Cody Rhodes heel turn sooner than the man they called him. We will see. And let the record show, ladies and gentlemen, we have learned that Uncle Todd is effusive in his praise and desire to see Roman Reigns victorious, once again carrying forth the mantle of WWE. He is a number one fan, and if possible, can we get some sort of meeting between these two, because I think Uncle Todd would love you.
You're messing with my Zen thing, man.
All right. With all that being said, we thank you again for the support and listenership as always. Jabroni! And as we like to close things out here on the range, be safe, be healthy, be kind, be good to one another. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. The range is closed for now. Say Mussolini!
It's like I picked the wrong week to quit drinking.
I beg your pardon, what did you say?
Damn!
You're such a disappointing pair. I prayed so hard for you. Get out. And don't come back until you've redeemed yourselves.
So say we all. So say we all.
Oh, thank you, Uncle Corny. Oh, never get enough of that. Never get enough of that. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Mm-hmm. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you that this is where the edit is going to be, because if I don't, then we'll get banned in several countries. So
I don't know what you're doing right now.
This is the end for you, but not the end for us.
Now get the hell out of here!